Welcome to a meeting of the Brush Lickers Club. Warhammer, but more casual.
Ladies and gents, welcome back to the number 32nd club in town that is known as the Brush Licker Club. You might have heard we've been very busy. We've been dodging bullets. We've been not coming home with things. What can I say, peeps? We've had an emotional roller coaster, and to top it all off, we have got our first best returning guest coming back to us, and that is Mr. Chris Peach. Peachy Tips is in the house.
Peachy Tips. Hi, you guys. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hi. How are you doing?
I'm very well, mate.
I just want to get
back.
more. I just want to get my face on more t-shirts. That's
Yeah.
the reason I'm here.
Are you an artist?
No. Apparently, licking my brush like that. No. Start your lick brushes.
Well, as I said though, it was a perfect place to do it. So because we've at least got 600 people who are like-minded people now and like licking brushes. So that's fine.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. I can't believe 1,600 people followed our Instagram page.
Amazing.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
You obviously, that thing where you obviously have just been spamming people's accounts has worked.
Yeah.
And
That's
our Spotify following's going up as well. So
amazing.
hey,
who knew?
great stuff. Great stuff
sure
indeed.
There must be more brush lickers out there than just 1,600. Surely we can
I
we can
would've
spread
thought
out and get them in the fold.
Yes.
I
Got
think
it.
there's-
Gotta be.
We'll get them in a big van.
It's going to be a big van.
Big van. Very. Have you seen clowns in cars?
Yes, I have.
Brush
actually,
lickers
yeah.
in a van.
Yeah, fair. All right, I can cope with that.
and most of the people in the club are clowns as well, so it's quite literal. So
Yeah.
Yeah. But Peachy, it has been an absolute whirlwind for you though, because you've been here, there, everywhere, and you started your own bloody channel.
I know, mental, right? Wow, that's a strong choice going into 2024, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sod it, do my own thing. Yeah. It's been an interesting journey, that's for sure. I didn't expect to be running my own channel. There's so many things I've got to learn and unlearn as well. But it's been really sort of, I think I've learned more in this, 4 or 5 months since I started than I have in like 10 years.
Oh, wow.
Just because of like all the skill sets I've got to learn, all these sort of like attitudes. I've learned a lot about people. I've learned a lot about tech. I've learned a lot about what's right, what doesn't. One thing I've discovered, which I'm working on now, people can forgive bad visuals in a video. They won't forgive bad audio. So I've had a few people commenting. Well, I suppose when you are listening to it in your hobby and you're not paying attention to the visuals, it's the thing that is in your mind. And my mic that when I first started off, and it's a trustworthy mic, but it's not the best one in the world. It's all I could afford at the time. And also being a bit of a Luddite, it worked because I had this like mic that I just plugged straight into the camera. So I didn't have to worry about syncing audio. So I was trying to like be efficient, but then there's loads of cleanup after, and I'm still like getting used to like editing. So that's the other thing is like learning editing. I didn't know how to edit a video in my life. So that was a steep learning curve too, but yeah.
You're in the right place here, buddy. Hashtag no edit club.
yeah, we don't do edits as well.
No one's got time for that.
No.
I
was going to say in a weird way that I really enjoyed doing it, which is mad. So it's hard. It's getting easier. So at first it seemed like the most complicated thing in the world. Like, if someone gave me like a car engine went, you got to fix that today. I'll be like, I don't know what you're doing. But yeah, there's loads, whenever I've made a mistake or I just don't get something, I just go onto YouTube and go Premiere Pro, what's the problem? And then there's just a video for it, which is, I guess from my point of view, from doing that side of things, from a painting point of view or a building point of view, helps so many people out there when they're like, oh, how do I dry brush grey? Or, how do I do this thing? 100%. So it's been like super useful YouTube as in learning all these little things. But yeah, my favorite thing is like being able to like do all the painting or do all the camera stuff and then edit all together and then just go, right, I'm just going to talk over some bits now because it makes sense because I can see it in front of me. Whereas before, like with workshop and painting phase, I'd be like, typing it all down on the phone, and I'll be like, this is kind of the things I want to say for the voiceover, so I'll talk through the things.
Yeah.
But sometimes it might not be enough, or there'll be too much. So there'll be too much talking for the footage, or might not be enough talking for the footage. So some footage gets cut out. So now I have full control over, like, I can just talk for as long as this footage, and then either remove some or add some extras in if I need to. It's mega. I love it, but hard, but fun.
So good.
It's great.
No, I'm glad you're enjoying it. I guess that's the big steep learning curve. As you say, that's obviously either very, very daunting and kills the idea very early, but you seem to have thrown yourself like fully into it and like, kind of like learned so much stuff like off the back of which I think is awesome. To answer it, what's the thing you found probably the easiest thing to learn, and probably what's the hardest thing to learn? I'm going to throw straight into some questions.
I would say the easiest thing to learn has been Premiere Pro, because there's so much resource out there for assistance, and it's quite an intuitive program. I was like, when I was at workshop, I was like, oh, I'd love to learn editing, and I remember the editors going, it's easy, it really is. And I'm always a bit like, yeah, but I'm a bit thick, so it's easy for you, but for someone like me, I'm a bit of a so I might have a bit of a problem. And then I've had a go, and I've got used to it, and I've like done some cuts, and I've tweaked things. Every video I've like tried to like improve something in Premiere Pro, whether that's like a cut or like a visual or something like that. So that's been the easiest thing. The hardest thing is audio, and that's why I'm still having issues with it now. Today I'm kind of using my Focusrite. I've got this Focusrite solo red box thing, and then I've got like a new mic. These have been passed on actually by Rob, because he's upgraded his audio for the podcast. So he's like, use this, and I was passed on these like boxes and wires and things. I was like, okay, thanks, Rob. I don't know what I'm doing with
these. Peachy's hanging them up on his Christmas tree. Oh, that looks nice, doesn't it?
That looks really pretty. So yeah, audio. I think when I've been in Premiere Pro and I've had like voiceovers, I've like, people go, oh, you need to DS your voiceovers, or you need to de-hum your voiceovers, or you need to, get some hard limiters in there. And I've got like some stuff where I've been like doing treatments on the audio, but every now and again it either sounds like I'm underwater, or it sounds like I've got like a tin hat on, and sometimes I get it right and it feels awesome, and then other times like I did a talking head video about dwarfs and why I love dwarfs, and about my own dwarfs. And I was pleased with it. The audio was great. I listened through to it, and I was like, I'm super chuffed for this. It's not the best visuals, it's not the best audio in the world, but I'm chuffed enough with it. Clicked live, passed on to the patrons first. They gave me some feedback. Clicked live. They didn't give me this feedback, which was interesting. But when I went live on YouTube, because I try and like aim to like get every Friday at 5:30. There's like 2 sections where the music just goes really loud and you can't hear what I'm saying. And I was just like, it's had too many views now for me to delete it. Oh no, I'm so ashamed. And my wife was like, it's okay. I was like, no, I'm going to run out the house and hide.
Do you know what? I remember that video, and I swear it was different on Patreon than it was on YouTube. Because I feel like when you put it up on Patreon, I feel like it was smooth. Like there wasn't. I don't know, because like sometimes. I don't know why maybe it's a difference. I don't know.
I mean, I've discovered this a few times, like with some patrons, because I love the fact I will always put it out to patrons first if I can, so I can get any feedback. And usually that's why I love having a patron, because they're on the board and they're like, no, that needs, it's too quiet, or you might need to do this, or oh yeah, that's cool, I like that. I mean, the feedback, you get like nice feedback, but I like the stuff where it's a bit more like, oh, it'd be good if you could do this, or it'd be really interesting to see if you touch this subject, or maybe the music's too loud on this one or whatever. But there's been a few times where someone's gone, the audio is really low, and then someone's gone, no, it's not, it's fine. And then in the comments, someone will go, the audio is really low. Then someone will comment on that, go, no, it's not, it's fine. I'm like, is it the headphones? Is it my head? So what I've had to do now is punch up my volume so high, so when it's like on top volume, it's almost destroying my ears. So then people have the choice of turning it down, I guess. So that's it's the volumes I'm trying to like get my head used to. Is like maybe I'll do it fairly loud on my headphones and then reduce. And there's all these sort of like numbers like, oh, you should do it at -6 decibels, and we should have the music at -20 of that or whatever. But when I do it, it just sounds pants in my headphones, and I'm getting some new headphones now as well because I've had these a little while. So maybe it's my headphones too. But yeah, loads of things to learn. So each video there's something new to discover and fix, which is great, and I love it. One day
Good.
I won't have to do anything. That's what I'm hoping for. I'll just get it all done.
Fingers
It's fine.
I mean, all it's made me feel like is say, Sean, we're never doing YouTube. That's fine. I'm just going to sit doing this.
No, we will do it, but just not very well.
I mean, you do a podcast. It's on Spotify. Do you get many complaints or people commenting about the audio? I'm sure it's fine if people are just listening. To the banter.
We don't have a feedback section. This is dictatorship. We put out, and that is it.
Yeah,
there's no option.
Sweet.
100%.
I should do that. I should just tell the comments.
Yeah.
Do you like it? No, doesn't matter. Didn't hear it.
Fantastic. Engagement, tick.
Great, thanks. 10 out of 10, do it again.
Absolutely. Oh,
Right, should we go and do should we do a bit of what's going? What are you doing?
Sorry.
To say something.
No, I'm trying to, every now and again, I'm muting my mic because where my daughter's obviously running around, I don't want her to always be like putting in input onto the podcast as well.
I got you.
I don't listen to you. Shut up. I mean, what? Anyway, so I was going to say, go back to hobbies, goings on, and what's everyone been working on? What's everyone been up to? So I'll kick off. I'll kick off with a bit of Middle Earth terrain, bit of fantasy terrain I've been working on. Do you guys watch? Have you guys seen Conquest Creations? They're a Middle Earth channel on the old YouTube, and I've been working on the Kingdom of Durak Deep. It's a big dwarven castle, dwarven keep. I've uploaded a picture. I've worked on some marble flooring. This is it over here. It's a bit of a chunky boy.
Oh, nice. That is a chunky boy.
So I've done it's multiple levels. It's playable inside. I've been having a lot of fun with that. So it's up on the Discord as well. But I've had a lot of fun working on that this week. I've got a gatehouse and some walls on the way. Well, gatehouse is here. Walls are on the way. So I'm going to be laying siege very soon.
Nice. I'm just literally checking out the channel you just said, so I'll look at those later. Some nice looking Lord of the Rings stuff.
Yeah, fun channel as well. Really fun channel to watch. So like our little gaming club that I'm part of, we're currently in a Middle Earth campaign. So absolutely love it.
Yeah,
always been very much 40k, and then someone brought up the idea of doing Middle Earth. Loved the story. Loved Lord of the Rings. Loved The Hobbit. The second part of that is quite controversial, but I think The Hobbit's fantastic.
I fully agree. It gets more stick than it needs to, because, especially if you watch the extended versions. There's a bit more story in there, but the extended versions of dwarves in a chariot shooting as they're going along. I would say
fantastic.
Battle of Five Armies certainly makes more sense in the extended version than the theatrical version does. But I've always loved those movies. And I think a lot of people that give them stick have either really high standards or just aren't true hobbyists when it comes to Middle Earth lore. Because for me, even like Rings of Power, and I know I've seen the meme where it's got like Boromir, and it's like Gondor at its worst time, and then Gondor at its highest time, and it's like the outfits are like, no, they don't match. But I still enjoyed it. It's still Middle Earth content for me.
It's swords and fantasy. Do you know what I mean? It's like, exactly. I don't care. It's like, that's fine. It doesn't matter. Like,
I'm probably gonna get a stick for saying I like Rings of Power, but I do. Simple as that.
I don't think it's that bad.
It's wicked though.
I don't think it's that bad.
Yeah.
I think it's
I'm excited for the second season to come out.
Yeah.
The massive. I've seen the leaked, not leaked footage, but they released some troll like images and that. I think the trolls look fantastic.
Yeah.
Much more like real life. Than the CGI ones, but mate, I'm excited. I'm very much in my Middle Earth stage at the moment, Middle Earth phase.
You're not in your middle age stage, so that's good. So
not yet.
Buying sports
even though
cars
certain body parts are very much there. Like, hang on a minute, correction. My knees, by the way, people. Okay, no other body parts. I point out. Okay.
For an 80-year-old.
Everyone's been like, Sean, by the way, bits are revealing on the podcast this week. So it's been terrain work for me, getting that castle keep done. And over to you, Speeps. What have you been up to? What have you been working on?
Peach, after you go first.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, a bit of everything. Obviously, I do stuff like content for videos, but like personal stuff, even though it is
coming on a lot of Juggz I've seen.
I can't stop. But yeah, I mean,
love that line.
Thanks for coming on our Juggz. I have been exploring lots of skirmish games. So I've been aware of Silver Bayonet for a while, and obviously a lot of my content is featured on that. And I should paint some other factions, but I've got so engrossed in like painting more stuff for the British and the French that you only need 8 figures on each side. And I've got
they're the only 2 armies that matter, right?
Well, I've got like 24 for the British, like 16 for the French, and I don't need that many, but I'm just going to paint them anyway. But I've got choice, I've got options, I've got lots of things to pick from. I've got some scenery. I've been doing some scenery for that. Again, it's to add to the battle reports. I've done some baddie characters, but it's just been a bit of fun hobby. And then there's like Stargrave, Frostgrave, Rangers of Shadow Deep. There's all these other games I want to be like checking out and trying out and stuff like that. So it's just, it seems to be a lot of skirmish game related stuff, some sci-fi, but a lot of it seems to be quite fantasy or Napoleonic horror, Gothic horror, should I say.
Do you know, I was watching your most recent video, the intro into Silver Bayonet.
Yeah.
Where Sharp is on his way into the adventure. And it reminded me, have you seen the film Pride and Prejudice and Zombies?
Yes, yeah.
It's a terrible film, but it's fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, I heard the audiobook a few years back, and it was just a bit of fun. So,
but I feel if you ever get a chance to watch the film, it'd be very much up your street and very Silver Bayonet-y.
Yes, yeah.
Like the visuals of it.
I think that's the thing. It's like it kind of hits a good sort of era, even though like the Napoleonic Wars is quite early on in the 18th century. Like Bram Stoker's Dracula is a bit like later on in that kind of period, like 1870s, 1880s, or whatever. Yeah. But because it's like flintlock muskets, flintlock pistols, swords, you could do anything really. You could even like count the muskets as bows and go like even earlier. It's entirely up to you. But I think it just hits a lot of scratches for a lot of people's sort of like, I've always wanted to do like Sharp versus a vampire, or Hornblower versus like, I don't know, some weird sea monster. I don't know. I'm making it all up, but it's occurred to me.
Sea zombie.
A sea zombie, yeah. I mean, there's going to be. I've seen Pirates of the Caribbean. You can do Pirates of the Caribbean.
Exactly.
I didn't even think about that. That'd be quite cool. But yeah, I'm finding loads of hooks to get like characters from Sharp, like all the baddies he's killed in like a horror aspect, coming back alive is like a horror thing. So like the one on the first episode of
Hello Sharpie.
I've got Obadiah Hakeswell coming back as like some demon who can't die.
Nice.
So at some point he'll make an appearance. There'll be like some form of Dracula, and that might be. Can you hear that, by the way? I keep getting an alert. I don't know if you can hear that through my headphones or not, so I do apologise.
No, you're
that's
right
fine.
For now, but...
Yeah, so WhatsApp keeps. Like,
if you can hear it in the audience, well,
let us know.
Hello, welcome to Peachy's chat. When he gets notified and people messaging him.
I keep like muting all these different. You got Discords. I mean, so many different Discords, and like mute for 24 hours, and like get a million notifications. Like, damn it! It's quite.
Matt, should I do it now? I've got to do my every podcast. Apologise to our Discord users because I'm so shit at Discord. I'm terrible. I just, like you said, like because I'm part of so many Discords, it just pings off all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no. So
I mean,
sorry guys.
I should respond more to my Discord as well. It's just sometimes I find when it gets to like the time I have free to do it, I have no energy. And I like dropping the odd message and stuff, but it's like I can see why people have social media managers now. At the time I was just like, why do you need someone just to look at Facebook?
Yeah. Same here, bud. Yeah, we get that as well. Yeah. Whoa. Wait, mute.
But it's hard. I mean, it's like if I'm recording a video or not or editing a video, I've got like Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Discord, 2 Discords because there's Juggz as well, and then there's the comments on YouTube. And it's like, my God, there's so many different things I've got to respond to. And then there's obviously my emails as well that come through, and Patreon itself, of course. So there's all these different like platforms that I've got to, I say I've got to, it's my choice, but you don't want to be like neglecting any of them. But by default, once you start putting effort into one, you're neglecting the rest anyway. So I can see why having a sole person to help you with that is a smart move.
I do think like Discord though, like because you can create such like good communities, they kind of like self-sustain themselves in some ways. Like you have like people get to know each other, and then it's almost nice to kind of step back a little bit. And sometimes I think, and I see people like messaging in our Discord, and I'm like, it's so good that these people maybe have never spoke to each other from any different parts of the world, and then they're now chatting to each other because of the fact they've gone to Discord, and you've kind of had a hand in that. And it's kind of like that, and it's lovely. So I love engaging with people on there. But at the same time, it's nice seeing other people just engaging in like a community that you've created, I guess. So I guess that's the nice thing, obviously, that you don't have to like sit there like moderating it like every 2 seconds, being like, oh god, what's going on here?
I suppose what a lot of people won't see is like, there's a lot of people on Discord that will direct message me with like questions and stuff as well. So I do it. I answer. If I can, I'll try and answer them where I can. And same with like on Twitter and Instagram. So I do like have lots of one-to-one conversations with people. I just don't always join in on the conversation, if that makes sense, because they've got it. And if I see a funny meme with Sean Bean, I do a little smiley face and have a giggle at home. And like Mrs. Peach is like, "What are you laughing at?" I was like, "Come here, this is Sean Bean."
Yeah.
So yeah, it's great. It's good. Got a whole channel for Sean Bean appreciation, which is vitally important.
Big respect. Big respect. Love that, man.
But yeah, what have you been up to, Matt?
What have I been doing? I've been
in life, mate. What have you been up to?
Yeah, where you at? What are you doing? How's it
We
going?
can talk about that. I mean, I do have a life outside of hobby.
No, you do not. Get back to painting all those bloody rats.
Yeah, so there we go. Rats, basically. That's what
is this scathing type rats?
Well, I started before Saving Type box. I've got my box. I've currently painted 2, 4, 6, 8. I've painted 10 rats fully, and I've based them, and I like them. And I've painted two others, but then I didn't like the colour schemes. I've had to stop doing it, so I'm going to have to strip those. I did them in a nice verminous red, but now I've gone for a nice purple. I've gone for a purple and green, like the opposites of colours, so nice and leery. Yeah. So I'm getting there. I'm painting rats, basically, at the moment. I'm batch painting 60 clan rats in one go, which has been fun.
Nice. Yeah. That is not a job to be scoffed at. I've been there. I know that pain.
Peachy, but this is he sold rats. He had more.
Oh my god!
I feel like I had to talk him off a ledge because he was. Yeah.
I don't see it's literally like that Home Alone, like kind of.
Yeah.
He was all done for rats.
Yeah, I literally don't need rats raiders, but I'm really looking forward to putting together the new Skaven type box. I opened up.
Just look great.
I opened up this afternoon actually. I had a quick look. Didn't have a chance over the weekend with things going on and stuff. And artwork's beautiful. I don't know if anyone's seen the books yet, but the artwork in the books is really, really nice. I think it all came beautifully packaged and stuff like that. I think they've really presented it really well. Compared to, I haven't got like a launch box in a while, kind of thing, and it's my first time kind of properly getting into AOS. I've had the models, but this is my first time kind of going into it. Because the fact doing a bit of fantasy stuff. So I'm kind of quite looking forward to getting my rat boys out there at the moment. I've just been churning through those. But I'll do what I have been doing, and I have been enjoying as part of it. Has been there's a website called Epic Basing, if anyone knows it. They basically do STLs for different basing materials, pretty much. That's exactly what it says in the tin. And because my Skaven, I've gone for like cobblestones and kind of muck and stuff, where they've kind of ruined the city, basically. And some like grass is coming up between the stones because obviously it's dilapidated. Epic Basing has some really cool ancient temple, like cobblestone things, and I've just been using those and then printing the load off.
That's smart.
Snapping them into small bits, and they're really, really good. So easy. They've got so much good stuff on there. Like I could probably spend like hundreds of pounds just on the basing materials on there alone. And they've got.
I'm just getting a notepad to take notes because I've got.
I was going to say, Matt, I'm starting an AOS bit as well, and I think cobble bases would look really nice with those guys.
Oh.
Sean, my friend, you some off.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm hearing a lot of you guys talking about AOS. That sounds like you can have enough stuff to play Warcry too, which is great.
Yes,
Well,
or
just-
Peachy. I forgot to talk. I've worked on these guys, the Bretonian. If people can't see it, but
Oh,
Bretonian
yeah,
Foot Knights.
Yeah.
A little bit of kit bashing, and they're going to be for AOS.
Nice.
As they're like the Dark Elves in Cities of Sigma, like the long swords. They've got they've got halberds.
Execution.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
I don't read rules. I just look at models.
It's fine.
So,
You get, best way. Go with the rule of cool and what looks cool. That's the best way.
Well,
so yeah, I mean to do like a witch hunter themed army. So yeah, those are going to be like the guys with like massive axes to chop the heads off the witches or rats.
Which could also be witches, right?
Yeah.
You know.
Well, you've got the Gracie, isn't it? I mean, I do like the new Gracie models. Very nice, by the way.
Yeah,
Very nice. Pretty.
Been out of the loop weirdly with workshop stuff. I've seen the Skaven side stuff. I've just not had enough of a look to appreciate all of it. So I need to have a better.
I feel like I'm behind, generally speaking. To be honest with you, I kind of obviously saw the rats, knew the rats were coming out, and I was kind of fixed on those. But I feel like I've been a bit. I don't know. I was actually watching Juggz this afternoon, and I know you guys are chatting about it a bit. Like it's a bit
context needed there.
What was you watching, Matthew?
No, I just watch
Dirty
Juggz.
bastard.
Every time I work from home, I like to watch Juggz. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Can I just put this out there as well? That was Louise's name. That me and Rob had nothing to do with that. She came with that name, and it's a good classy name that's easy rememberable.
It's so good. It's honestly absolutely fantastic.
It's so funny. Like
just innuendo bingo at its best.
Innuendo bingo.
He's just got so much to go from. So so Juggz on my massive 50-inch screen, which is next to my desk when I work at home.
Nice,
so,
nice.
I've got you all in large letters. But where's it going with this? I'm a workshop. Yeah. So I mean, when you're saying a bit workshopped out, I do feel a little bit like that. To be fair, in terms of. Like 40k in particular, I do feel a bit 40k'd out at the moment. I'm a bit like in particular,
yeah,
so like,
no, definitely.
A bit of fantasy's like nice. I have got a box of like the chameleon skinks for Warcry. I also know it's a workshop, but it's not like it's a little bit different and stuff. And obviously seeing so many different kind of models and really cool stuff out there at the moment, it's been on Kickstarters and stuff. It's really been kind of turning the old head a little bit. Been like, what's out there? Like Sean's trying to get me into Middle Earth, which again I know is a workshop, but at least it's something different as such. So
honestly, but playing it doesn't feel like a workshop game.
Yeah.
Like if that is because it's so different to what I'm used to. Because I think even with like AOS and 40k, like they are different games obviously, but I feel like some of the mechanics are very similar.
Yeah.
Like with unit coherency and like the sequencing of it.
Yeah.
But like with Middle Earth, I just love the rule set because it's just it's really different. Yeah, and it works from so many different scales.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. It's such a good game.
It's so widely regarded as like probably one of, and it is, I hands down, it is one of Games Workshop's best rule sets they've ever made. And we've used it. I mean, they used it for historicals because when they used to do Warhammer Historical, they used to have like Legends of the Old West. They used it for, I think they used it for the Great War stuff, and they started using it for the Colosseum game that they were doing, and lots of other stuff as well. But me and Duncan used to make up our own rules, and we just like went, let's do the Battle of Little Round Top, and I've got some Confederates, you got some Union. Let's just use Lord of the Rings rules because we know those inside and out, and we'll just go. You know, you look at Rohan, they kind of like, you know, that'll work. Maybe you count like a rifle as like a crossbow, and like a normal musket as maybe like an orc bow. And if you get like better muskets, like Sharps muskets, because like you have got different types of muskets in the
Baker rifle, the
Baker rifle was like Napoleonic's, but like during the American Civil War, they had all these different makes of like muskets and stuff, and some were like slightly better than others. But yeah, it's such a good rule system, so well done, so well thought out.
The thing is though, Peach, I'm going to have to say I'm a little bit annoyed because you keep getting me wanting to start loads of different games. That's the biggest issue, because you keep seeing all these things you keep painting up, and I keep going, I mean, really cool. I really want to get involved in that, and I think, I can't get another game system going, can I? Really?
I mean, I don't know if you can tell by all the boxes behind me, but it's not easy for me. I'll put it that way. So I've.
Do you know one thing I actually absolutely loved of yours, Peachy, was the Napoleonic Templars.
Oh yes, yeah.
They look so good. I really want to get into Silver Bayonet.
Yeah,
literally from that.
You can literally do what you want, and that's the thing about it. I was like, I've got like my British, I got my French. They're quite classic looking, like, and I've kept them as close as I can, most of them, to like the uniform as well, because I just want to do that. Because I like painting that stuff, and I've done like armies of British and armies of French and Austrians. I've got all the resource books, and I like painting them. But I've also got like so many regiments I always wanted to paint, but never got around to doing. Because with like black powder, you need like 30 figures, and I'm like, I don't want to paint 30 figures of this, but I can paint one now for Silver Bayonet, and that's fun. But yeah, doing the Templars was great, and I've got like other ideas of stuff I want to do. But there's just so many itches to scratch right now, and I was gonna, like, cards on the table. I'd written up a Warcry video a little while back, because when my wife's doing some shopping, I sit at a pub and they've got like, it's a Wetherspoon, so you can get like refills of tea. So I was just like, I'll be sat there and I'd like, my lad with me, and he's like playing on his tablet, and I'm just there writing notes down for like the next few videos and stuff. And I'd planned like Peach on Gangs, which is my Necromunda thing. I want to do that like Ross Kemp vibe. I've got like, yes, I'm just gonna be wearing like the scarf and like the gillet, and I'll be like, I've got to plan out how that's going to work still, but it's in the pipeline. I have all these videos prepped and stuff, and I've still got loads that I want to do. But I'd done this Warcry when I was like, I really want to talk about Warcry, and lots of people go, when are you going to talk about Warcry, because you love Warcry? I was like, I'm going to do it because I've got all these other things I need to do first, because I'm one guy, I can only get one video done at a time, and it takes like a few days to film it, a few days to edit it. And I'd just done the Sharp first Silver Bayonet narrative battle report, and I was like, I kind of just want to do those now for the rest of time, but I've written this video up, and I kind of want to do it. And as I was doing the video, I'm like, I just want to talk about the Silver Bayonet. I was like, no, be enthusiastic about Warcry because you love Warcry. I was like, yeah, I know, Peach, I do love Warcry, but I want to talk about the Silver Bayonet. This is not Silver Bayonet video, Peach. This is the Warcry video. So yeah, so even then when I'm doing it, it's hard sometimes because there's so many different things. I mean, there's the Rangers of Shadow, there's the Stargrave stuff, there's Moonstone. I've got all these other games I really want to try, and it's just getting time because I've got to paint the stuff up for the video as well, like for nice, sexy background shots and stuff, as well as anything I actually physically paint. So I'm going off on loads here. I do apologise. It's just
no, mate.
It's a minefield.
This is a podcast for hobbyists, and you are very much a hobbyist, I think, before a YouTuber, because it's like that's what a true hobbyist is. You're bouncing in and out of all these different things. You're not doing it because you're getting paid to promote a specific piece of content. It's like, this is what I like. World, have a look at it.
Yeah.
The models, not anything else.
No. I mean, I will have.
Check out OnlyFans.
I can do that at home now. No, absolutely not. I've got my first sponsored content coming up, but it's something I wanted to do anyway. So Warlord had reached out and said, can we get you to do some videos? I was like, amazing. Yeah, but I kind of want to do stuff I want to do, because this is the thing I found with like the painting phase, was like there'll be like these. I mean, I didn't mind Raid Shadow Legends. I'm currently, there's like off on the side, because I like to like get like the scores. I've got like Raid Shadow Legends going off in the background right now, just trying to get some potions and stuff. So I actually don't mind doing videos on that, and I don't think I'll ever actually now do a Raid video for my channel, because I just can't be arsed. It's a lot of hard work, and they do give you lots of things you have to do. Like, you must say this at this point, and then you must do this at this point, and you must say this at this point. I'm like, God, I can't be arsed with that. But like Warlord reached out, and they were like, can you do some videos for us? I was like, well, yeah, but I, as long as it kind of like fits with what I do, because I don't want to just be I don't want to be that guy that's like, oh, check out this video about Judge Dredd, and I don't care about Judge Dredd, or I don't care about this product, or I don't care about that product. I don't want to do that. But I've been looking at like getting into, because they've been doing their Epic games. They did like the Civil War one, they've got the Napoleonic one, and they've just brought Hail Caesar out. And with like Epic, what's it called? Imperialis? Thanks,
something like that.
I can't afford to buy their things, workshop stuff at the moment. So I'm just like, well, I'm not going to do Marines. It'll be quite good. But then they're like, well, we can send you some stuff. You want to do a video on like some Hail Caesar things? I was like, that'd be wicked. So I'm currently doing a video on painting up tiny little men, and sort of like how it's a different way to paint minis. because so many people I've seen treat like the 10 mil figures like it's a 28 or 32 mil figure, and they paint every single figure like they're painting a Stormcast soldier or a rat or something for like Necromunda. It's like, no. There's a whole different principle for this, because it's about not 100% going historical accurate, because you can't, because they're too small. And given the impression, that artistic impression that it is that thing. So like doing a bunch of Romans at the moment, if you were to like blow them up to human size, they wouldn't look like a Roman from a sculpting point of view and from a painting point of view. But at the distance on the table, you go, Romans. Carthaginians. You know, you can look at it at a glance, and it gives you that kind of like. So that's a video that they've asked me to do, and I was like willing to do that. So yeah, at the moment, I've got very few sponsored content in the pipeline. I'll only do it if it's something I care about or want to do. Cool. So that will happen at some point, but I won't be doing Squarespace adverts, that's for sure, or like Surfshark or whatever into the AM, because they're just a bit of faff, and they're not what I'm into. And maybe some people are like, yeah, but it's money. I'm like, yeah, you're right, it is, but at the same time, as much as money is important for a small channel, and this is the thing I find really weird, is like as soon as you do sponsored content, you do get people that leave the channel because like, oh my god, you've sold out. I was like, you do know I have to feed a family, right? Yeah, because YouTube can only do so much, but at the same time, I'll try and keep it to hobby and relevant hobby that I'm excited about. That I think that's the key, really. If I do, but most of it is just me getting excited about hobby, and I want to keep it that way.
Well, yeah, exactly, and I think that then comes across in like the stuff you do, right? So if you're excited about something, people can actually kind of buy into that, because they're like, oh, he's genuinely excited about this. You can tell.
Yeah, they buy off the vibe, don't they? You know, it's about setting that hobby vibe, and at the end of the day, it's all about escapism, isn't it? Like everyone, about getting away from the world that's going on around you, and you know, dodging bullets. And just
going there, aren't
you? You know, keep your ear close to the ground, not up in the air.
God. In about 10 years' time, people are like, what is he on about?
What is he going on about? Yeah, and you know, I think that's what people like, and that's is something that they buy into, and it's like your virtual hobby friends. You know, 'cause, you know, people want to hear you chat and talk about your narrative. Because I know that's when I was watching the Silver Bayonet video while I was finishing doing the flooring on the keep that I've been working on. I was like, now I really got to paint some Napoleonics.
I did like the idea of that. It does sound quite cool, to be honest with you. It's just sound like having something different to paint, which is quite like I've got interest in. Like, I love a bit of history and stuff like that. There's so much good history out there. And now I'm thinking like, is there like some samurai stuff? Is there like a game like samurai? That's what I'd be like. That'd be well cool. Like, samurai versus
Matt, I'd like to point out you're talking to the wrong person. You're like, is there some samurai stuff? Peachy's like, yeah, here you go. Here's the link.
There's a game called Bushido, so that's you're right there with that.
I saw Bushido at Salute, and the table looked amazing.
Yeah.
So good.
I mean, there's a few games. I mean, there was another one which I can't remember what it's called, but Fireforge Games do like 4 sets of samurai. So they do like, forgive me with the names, but they basically do samurai on horse, samurai on foot, and then like the troopers, which are Ashi Yari Gary or something. I always say Gary or Garu or something like that. They're basically spearmen. They all mean a thing like Ashi Yari means like.
Do you remember old Ashi Gary?
Oh, Ashi Gary. Oh yeah. He used to work.
See him in the pub on Saturday.
yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, I was thinking of doing.
It was Peachy's soldering mate growing up.
Yeah, when I was back in the smelting mines of Dusseldorf. Yeah. Oh, that's some Juggz law right there. Yeah, I mean, I want to do a warband that's like one of every specialist across the world in that time. So, like, you might like a samurai, a Gurkha, a Coldstream Guardsman, a French Old Guard, a US Marine. You know, like a bit of everything from each of the nations, and do like this elite team of specialists that are sent to kill Dracula or like some ancient horror or whatever, or the Mummy or whatever. But yeah, I mean, you don't have to know
anything. The Mummy, the opening film sequence for the Mummy when it's the Foreign Legion against the defenders of the
Bedouins,
tomb,
isn't it?
I love that. I love that scene. Yeah, everyone forming rank, and God.
Yeah, and they get mullets as well.
I'm like, hang on a minute.
Better than that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I'm sure this ain't entirely accurate.
Yeah. No, it's
But
great.
yeah,
It's a good
that's
scene.
love that scene.
Yeah, but yeah, you could do oat mat, literally anything, and you don't need to know anything about anything. You can just go. I mean, I've literally done a character. He's not. You won't have seen him yet because I've done some recording with some the games night again because they're awesome. We've been playing some games with them, but I've done a character called the Duke of Battenberg because during like the Napoleonic Wars, there was so many like small German duchies. Like the Confederation of Rhine was made up of all these like small duchies and baronies and this, that, and the other. So I've just made one up called Battenberg, and they've got like a quartered shield which is like pink and yellow.
Nice.
And they're like marzipan, and he's in pink and yellow. So I'm like, yep, that's the Battenbergers. I love
We are the Battenbergers. We are the Monty Pansies, yeah.
Marzipan. Maybe that's the name of the elites instead of fusing
Yeah.
the
Marzipan's.
Sold. I'm in.
Love that. This whole idea sounds great because all now I'm thinking as well is that you've got like this. You're going to create a historical Avengers where you're getting one person from different things. That's kind of what it's going to be like.
That's quite.
Avengers. Take
imagine
different things.
Imagine.
Yes, I love it. It's a moment I can see it.
The Avengers in the Napoleonic Wars. Imagine like Doctor Strange, Captain America. And then you've got
that'd be a really good video. I'd watch the shit out of that. That'd be so cool.
I'm doing it. Tony Stark's in like some kind of suit of iron, but he's also a scientist.
Yeah. Sorry, that's my daughter just like getting excited.
She really hated that idea. I won't be doing that.
I was gonna say.
she's saying that's it. She's been silenced.
Silence. Be quiet, child.
Anyway, I'm not gonna lie, peeps. That's probably gonna be kept in. You know the rules. Great. Hashtag no edit club.
It was a blood-curdling, chilling scream, to be honest. At one point. I was like, "What? What's going on in the background?" Yeah,
I can hear she's found sweets. I can hear a packet.
Oh no!
So that's what she's getting excited over.
Sweets at 9 o'clock, Sean. That's dangerous.
I'm going to lock the door.
Yeah. Top tip, by the way. Top tip, right? Yeah. I'm assuming you've got in-laws that you can take the kid to like stop overnight every now and again and stuff like that. So my mum and dad would loves to take Charlie and have him stop over every now and again. But my mum obviously likes to feed him full of sugar before sending him back to us. I'm like, cheers, Mum. Thanks. Thanks. So
why do grandparents do it?
I don't know. But what we do now is we load him up with sugar before we send
him.
We're like, we fight fire with fire now. So if you're playing that game,
like you have your own sports nutritionist. I want a slow burn and then a big explosion. What should I feed him?
So whenever we say like, oh, do you want to go to Granny and Pops at the weekend? Charlie's like, yeah, because I get all the sugar.
Next fix, ready to go.
It's great though. I love it. Watching them just like wind up their grandparents. It's amazing.
I was going to say on the Napoleonic Avengers, the Navengers.
Avengers. Yeah.
Yes.
I like it.
I was going to say Iron Man would just basically be Ned Kelly, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it would. That's a smart.
Just
like some weird bullet
getting shot in the crutch.
Yeah. I could get like a knight and paint it in like red and gold, and then like make it sort of like it's got like little slits here and stuff. This is great.
That'd be. I would love to see that.
I might have to do that. That's going to be fun. Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
That's
who would be the most awkward one to do? I'm thinking.
I don't think any, because I mean, like you could like do. What's his name? Barton. He could just be like a rifleman or like some sharpshooter. Maybe he still uses a bow. I don't know. Hawkeye still uses a bow, or Hawkeye would be quite good for an American hunter, like a like Last of the Mohican kind of vibe. Long Caribbean kind of guy. Black Widow. I don't know how she would fit in. Maybe she's just like some spy, like some cadre of like
geisha. A bit like a geisha or something.
Maybe, yeah.
Ooh, that's a good shout.
I mean, to be fair, there's lots of females in the Napoleonic Wars, which I've discovered now from doing all these videos. It's like, there's just fought. That's fine. Because you've got like guerrillas as well, like the partisans and stuff. Teresa. Yeah, Teresa. But yeah, that's cool. Oh, yeah, I mean,
Nice.
I don't know. Thanks for the idea. I didn't know I needed, but now I do.
Hey,
That's absolutely fine.
welcome to
Great
Peachy's
idea.
creative department.
Just take notes every time I'm
one
here.
idea a year.
One idea. Yeah. Yeah, how long ago was it now? It must be about like 6-7 months, something like that, since we last reconvened.
Oh God.
October, November.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah,
Yeah.
mad.
Time flies, eh?
And I'm still not painting your model up, Matt.
I never sent it to you. That's what we're going to go
Yeah,
with.
we'll go with that. We'll go with that.
I never received it.
It's not like I can see him right here now, but no, you've never received him. Never got him.
It's absolutely fine. It's all good. He's still on his planet and they haven't arrived yet. My talent trick, so that's what we'll go with. We'll go with that line.
Yeah.
He can't join the ranks if he's not actually discovered yet. So.
It's fair. Yeah, it's not trade. You're not got to Traitor General yet. You're not worried about that.
No, we're not quite there yet. We've only just got a few of the girlies I've actually painted up. So I've got a few girls painted up now as well from Bear and Hive.
Nice.
Made my own toner as well. So so it's coming along nicely. But Ezra will slip in nicely in the backfield.
Yeah. Nice. I'll get him. Oh well, when you're next up, let me know, and then I'll.
Yes, we are. We definitely need to sort this out. I need to book in.
Yeah. Nice.
Book in with the old warden. See if I can get day clearance.
Yeah, I know it's hard, isn't it?
Well, if you keep giving Bell sugar at 9 o'clock, you'll be your probation is not going to be extended.
Yeah. To be fair, I've looked and it wasn't sweets. It was just like a plastic toy packet thing. So I was like,
that's good.
Because that was going to be an emotional time. Yeah, exactly.
No sleep for you.
Yeah. So what I was going to say is we've all been obviously on our very different hobby journeys. I just wanted to pick your brain a little bit, Peachy. Yeah. Have you got any opinions? Well, I guess you said you've been a bit out the Warhammer loop. Obviously, a big part of our audience is Warhammer based. A lot of 40Kers in chat, a few AOSs and stuff. But would there be anything that do you think would bring you back into 40K if there's something that could change? Would there be
rules. The rule, simple as that. Let me use what I want. Because I've got 4 40K armies all through probably the studio up to just before leaving marketing. I've built 4 armies up, and that was Imperial Guards, Drakari, Sister Battle, and Gene Stealer Corps, all across a prolonged period of time, just building them up and that. I can't use any of them now at all. Because they're all illegal, and I can't be asked to paint new stuff for them because by the time I got stuff painted for them, the next set of rules would make them illegal as well. So I'm currently using one-page rules to play 40K games because it's quick, it's easy, and I have fun with the stuff I want to play with, as opposed to the stuff that this book that some guy sat in a seat has dictated that I can only play with. It's like, no, I play with what I want, if that's okay with you, and I will do that anyway. I'm of the mind where I can look at rules and go, I don't care what the rules say. There's all the data sheets. I'm using all that stuff. I mean, I have a combined Imperial force as well. So I've got my Sister of the Battle with my Imperial Guard, and I've got a handful of Space Marines, and I will use the index books or whatever to make that happen when I play games with my mates and stuff. So I'm not fussed by that when it comes to my side of it, but there's probably a lot of people out there that do like to follow a structure, and they also can't use a lot of their stuff that they have spent time painting. I just think it's a bit of a dick move when people build collections up and then suddenly it's like, you can't use these. We're not going to let you use them. Yeah. I mean, the weirdest thing, and I still don't understand why it's the case, is they did a box of, it's a Dominion squad for Sister of the Battle. It comes as a box of 5 and you build them up as a Sister Superior with 4 special weapons. To now use them in the game, you have to have 10. So you're like, well, where am I getting the other 5 from? It's like, oh, you get them from the Sister Battle squad, but they come as a box of 10 and you field them as a box of 10. So where are the other 5 coming from? So it's like this whole kind of you've not thought this through. So once the rules start getting better, then I'll start playing again. Stop making it stupid and convoluted. And I've not tried 10th, and I'm sure 10th is fine, but I just don't have the energy or the time to put money into a game that may be okay or may not be okay. So yeah, it sounds really bitter, but
No, I get that. I'm definitely 40k'd out, and even so, all of the games I play are very, very, it's friendly. Typically I play in our my gaming group's campaigns. So we've got two guys that are amazing, and they run the rule set for us, and like we've got an interactive map that we're taking territories of and stuff like that. And it's whatever they do is kind of what game system I play. Yeah, and I'm just a bit 40k'd out. I'm like, it's too much. Too much for me at the minute.
I mean, even Kill Team. I mean, I like the idea of Kill Team, but I've just reskinned it for myself and just used Warcry rules, because as much as I'm sure the Kill Team rules are great, it's just another set of like weird rules that are like, why is that different? Why is that like that? That's bizarre. I think Warcry is a really good game system. There's a really cool card creator where I can just like swap out the figures and the numbers, put my own pictures and my own things on. That takes me like half an hour in an evening to do that. So I'm like, I'm just gonna use Kill Team models and play my own games of Kill Team, maybe use the scenarios and stuff. But Necromunda's great. I'll still keep using and playing Necromunda. So the only thing that gives me the fear of Necromunda is the flame burn rule. Blaze, that's it, blaze. Every time something catches fire, I dread it. I'm like, I don't bring flamers because I have to go to that paragraph of rules which freaks me out because I just don't understand what it's telling me. So sometimes you get like a really complicated law and you have to really read it. You're just like, what's going on? It feels like
let's just skip that bit.
It's like, please don't bring flamers to the game because I have to do reading and don't want to.
No one needs that. No one needs that at all. I mean, the most difficult thing I've ever tried to read. There's two things. I once attempted to read. I think it was Stephen Hawking's like Theory of Time, where he tries to dumb down in like English,
nice,
like really plain English.
Hang on, are you on crack? Why would you just decide to read that?
Because it's meant to be a really good book. I thought I'd try and read it.
Says who? Who thought, let's have a...
It says Stephen.
Yeah, he's the one writing it. Of course he wants to bump the numbers up on selling it, mate.
Well,
don't trust him. Don't trust the geezer. No way.
Well, he's not really here to trust anymore, Sean. R.I.P. Stephen Hawking. So.
Oh no, this is awkward.
Anyway, yeah.
It was quite that I had to read that like several times just to understand like a basic concept of physics, so that you could understand like the next 30 pages. Like
what?
And that,
again?
Well,
mate,
it's worth a read if you or get someone to explain it to you. But
have you ever read The Silmarillion or The Children of Hurin? Have you ever read those?
I've had a crack at The Silmarillion. Right, that is a chunky boy.
So the Silmarillion, we listened to the audiobook of that, and that's like Martin Shaw, and it's just like literally Martin Shaw goes, Daladar of Feladir went to see Meladar of Melandir, and they went to see Deladar of Niladir, and together they discovered Maladar. And I'm like, I have no idea what's going off right now. What's going off? So I started reading Children of Hurin. My wife got it for my birthday years ago, and I had a book of maps of Middle Earth, and I was like, oh, this is going to be helpful. So it starts doing all the name dropping, just the gratuitous name dropping that I expected from the Silmarillion. And I'm like, right, so Turin is with Turville and someone else called Celbrimbor. Okay, right. I've got those names. Okay. They've now journeyed to this place, map open. I'm like, right, you're there. How did you get there in a day? Okay, well, that's fine. And then it's like, then they go somewhere else. I'm like, but you've just gone up there now. And I'm like, I got so confused so quickly. I gave up. So I'm not reading this. It's like a yellow pages. You're just reading the yellow pages. That's what it feels like. So I have no idea what's going on.
You just have to paint some models up and use them. Literally, start plotting the map like it was like a tactical board from World War II. Get a long stick, start pushing them across the board as you're listening to it, and just dragging them back over. Oh,
Charlie will be like, "What's Daddy doing? Oh, he's just reading the Silmarillion."
Don't ever read it, Charlie. Yeah. I'm sure it's a great book. I mean, the thing is, though, it's like that book was like a resource for him to use for his sort of world building, if that makes sense. Like I've got like notebooks of like stuff for Hag Valkyr that I've done for my Daughters of Cain and Warcry stuff. That's not meant for anyone else but me, for me to understand, because it's like about what this area is about and why this fell down to this like ruin and why this gang of chaos cultists are there and this and the other. It's just for me. That's not like meant to be something you read out to an audience. That's just something for Peachy to use so he knows where everything is, and then he can make stories based on it. I guess that's what those books were. But people love Tolkien and want to get as much Tolkien as they can, and that's fine. I totally get it, but it's hard reading. It's a hard read.
It is. Yeah. It is definitely a hard read, 100%. And I think that's what makes the Peter Jackson's films so much more impressive.
Yeah, yeah.
He's made sense of it.
Yeah.
So
he's a smart man. Smart man.
Yeah. Well, cool. Pete, Matt, was you going to say something? So I thought you.
No, mate. No, I was doing a dramatic pause.
Oh, okay. Right, thanks. I was like, oh, he's going to say something here.
No.
So, Peach, I was. Oh, what? No. Yeah, so I was going to say. Anyway, I was going to talk about Juggz, which is one of my new favourite podcasts that I love listening to. It cracks me up.
About Juggz too.
All the time. And the fact that it's called Juggz, and you can just keep saying that line. How did it come about? How did Juggz happen?
So, obviously, I left the painting phase. I enjoyed doing the chats on the painting phase. They were great. I did enjoy doing the sort of industry chats as well, like people from Workshop and not just Workshop, but you got Ian from Fenris Games, Annie from Bad Squiddo, their perspectives on their journeys and this, that, and the other. Eric's Hobby Workshop, Dave, Mini Wargaming Dave. That stuff was cool. And when we had Louise on, it was just so cathartic for me having that chance to sit with Louise and have a good old chat like we used to back in the studios and stuff. And then obviously went my separate ways. They carried on doing their thing. I started doing my own channel, but in my mind I'm like, I still like doing the chats and stuff. And I was talking to Louise we should look at doing some chats at some point. She's like, yeah, I'd love to do that. Maybe we should do streaming, maybe we should do this. And then Rob's just like, I'm just gonna make it happen. I'm like, what? He's like, I'll just do streaming. I've got all the gear. Let's just do it. And I was like, okay, let's do it. And then for the next few weeks, whilst doing the odd journey to different events and stuff, we were just chatting about ideas. And they came up with loads of names, some really weird names. And in the end, it was just the day before we did the first episode, Louise was like, it's called Juggz, by the way. I was like, is that the name we're going with? And she was like, yeah. I was like, okay. Cool. But when I was thinking about it,
do you remember any of the other names at all?
There was the legally
any that you can legally say on air.
Yeah, it was something like legally distinct game in the far future, or something like that. And there was a couple of others I can't remember. There was a rude one, but I just wanted to call it the podcast or something stupid like that, because it's then really searchable. A podcast.
Nice.
No, let's not do that. But no, in the end it was Juggz. And you know what, it's when you look back at some people's channels and names of random businesses and stuff like that, it just makes sense to just have a weird name that's very rememberable. And Louise is quite good at that, so she was just people will remember it. It's okay because I came up with it because I'm a lady. I'm allowed to talk about Juggz. I'm like, okay, cool, that's fine. I also like talking about Juggz. It's one of my favourite hobbies too.
Because I'm a lady.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair,
Juggz, right? Is that what?
Yeah, Juggz.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, it's very hard for men in the hobby, isn't it? So,
it is.
my
God,
it's really hard.
I've used that a fair few times on this one. We had Zambies on our last episode.
Oh yes, yeah.
And she found it very amusing about finding it very hard to be a man in a hobby.
When Rob first said it, Louise's face was amazing. She was just looking at Rob is it? Is it really? And then he got a mug. No, it's been so good. And for me, it's we call it our play date now. So we're not doing it for a couple of Thursdays just because of illnesses, and they've been doing the AOS Worlds. But there's a couple in the bag, and I'm
can you hurry up, please? I need some more Juggz in my life.
Yeah, well, because he's got 4 cameras rolling, depending if we have guests, or 3 cameras rolling, and he's got all the gear and stuff like that. I've offered to edit, but for me, it'll be oh, this will be new, but I'm happy to help. But he's like, no, I'll do it. It's something he wants to do, but he's also got lots of other stuff he's doing as well. But hopefully, we'll get back into the swing of one a week, or at worst, maybe one every fortnight. But I'd like it to be one a week. But then that's a lot on Rob. But we might look at getting an editor. For the 3 of us to use for all our channels, including Juggz, which makes sense as well.
Oh, that's clever, yeah. Good idea.
So use
collective resource.
Yeah, I mean, I like editing the big videos for myself, but what I would like to do is get more shorts put out, because shorts are quite good for showing your stuff out there and getting more subscribers. But weirdly, it takes a bit of time editing a short as well. Even though it's called a short, you still got to get up the footage. You've got to cut it down to what is supposed to be 2-3 hours worth of footage. You've got to somehow find all the relevant bits and then make it into a minute, and then you're still there going, no, need to trim that down. No, that doesn't make sense. Need to trim that down. Then voice over it. So that becomes like a 4 or 5 hour job, even though it's like a short. So having an editor would be ideal for me. I can just go, here's a load of footage, cut them down into short, medium, and then I'll do the voiceovers. But yeah, it's so much fun doing it. It's just great just getting to chat with those two because I love them to bits.
It's
They're
been
awesome.
really enjoyable. It's been really enjoyable. I suppose because obviously we do this and this is absolute chaos as well at times. So to kind of listen to you three kind of like chat, even if it's just you three, but obviously you've had some great guests on as well. It's been like hilarious because you can just see. I sometimes see like each one of you's faces is just looking there, sitting there going, "What the hell is that other two going on about?"
What's going on right now?
It's absolutely brilliant. It's so good because I sit there and think that's exactly how like it's a proper conversation like between like 3 or 4 people, whoever you got on.
Yeah,
it's just so real, like, and that's what I love about it. You can just see the excitement. Like Louise is off on a tangent, she just goes bang and into that. Yeah, and then Rob's sitting there trying to piece together what's going on, and he's sitting there like the cogs are turning as he goes around, and then you're like, "Oh my god, Louise, that's so good!" And you can see Rob just going, "Oh, this is an extra layer of things I've got to understand." So it's great. It's really, really good. I really enjoyed the Andrew Wardle episode. Actually. It was really, really interesting. To hear from him because it's as you said on the show, like if you haven't seen it, guys, please do go and watch it. It's so good. But when he said he's now doing it full time, so he can really focus on his painting, which is going to be fantastic for everyone. At what level? Where can the level of painting really go to?
Good luck trying to get into competition painting with him around. I've met him a handful of times. The first time I ever met him was at Las Vegas Open. We went out for a meal and he was tagging along, and it was really nice chatting to him. And then the other times after that was just like in passing at like events and stuff. But yeah, I've got a lot of time for Andy. He's a really nice guy, and he knows his stuff as well. You know, it's like he's not like with competition gaming, you do get some people that like think they are the bee's knees because they do this thing, and I'm not going to point fingers at anyone. You know, if you are good, you know, you've got a right to be good, but he's quite grounded, which I really like as well. So he knows where he's come from, he knows what he's doing, and he's just chilled. And you know, seeing him going through his journey as well, like, I know how that feels. It's been a while. How are you getting on with audio? And it's like, I hate it. Hate editing. Takes so long. I'm like, it does. I know that feeling too. I was there like a couple of months ago. No, in fact, I'm still there now. It's just like, it's hard. It's what I found really funny or interesting with doing Juggz is like Louise would just come out with something like a term of phrase that explains like a thing that I've always done. I'm like, I've always daydreamed like that, or I've always thought like that. Is that a thing? Because I just thought that was just normal. Everyone thought, and I just thought either I was weird or I never talked about it because I just thought everyone else did it. So that's been really, and then seeing people in the comments going, "Oh my god, that's got a name. That's a thing." I forgot what it's called now. Like not melodramatic daydreaming, but something along that lines.
Oh, no, I'm not going to murder it.
Same. I know how to get it wrong. She knows it. But it's just fascinating, just like the stuff we all come out with, and I got to know a lot more about Louise and Rob just by having those chats. I thought I knew him quite well anyway, but apparently she didn't even know I was born in Germany until like that last episode with Tina.
I mean, it's amazing, isn't it? Like because you're having those conversations and you bring something up, and because you've probably just known each other for such a long time, and you just chat to your mates sometimes, you don't realise things. I chatted to one of my best mates. I've been best mates with since for 20 years. And I came out the other day and I said, I like I hate like mayonnaise, for example. Something like that, I said, and he was like, whole relationship is a lie. I've been mates with you for 20 years and I didn't know you didn't like. He goes, what is wrong with you? Like it's amazing. Like you can go through like years of knowing someone and you just don't know something so generic as like, when was they born? Or, I didn't know you didn't like that. I've like we've eaten hundreds of meals together or whatever.
But I've always given you mayonnaise.
And I've always exactly. Exactly. It's just one of those weird things that you just kind of don't know about each other. But I think that's the great thing about having those kind of real proper chats that are like structured but unstructured. You know what I mean? Like you've got your box, and then you kind of just fill it with all the stuff you want to fill it with. which is it's absolutely great, and it's been really, really good. So keep making more, please, because it's been bringing a lot of joy to my work from home days.
All right, wicked. Well, I'll get on that.
And it's brilliant when I'm sitting there with the kids quite often on a Saturday morning, and I go, Mrs. goes, "What are you watching?" I go, "I'm just watching some Juggz on the TV." So with the kids, so it's a bit of an eyebrow raiser, to say the least. So I had to prove to her the other day that I wasn't actually watching Juggz, and I was actually watching Juggz
podcast. We promise, it's a podcast.
It's always fun. But it's really, really good, mate. So please keep doing it.
Yeah, we will do. I mean, it's been a bit off and on the last couple of weeks, but I think it was because it's all been really busy periods for all of us anyway. And this will probably happen, and we're quite aware of it. So we've got like 2 in the bank, but hopefully, as of now, I've not heard anything to say it's not going to happen. But I'm really excited about this Thursday coming up because. Going to be talking to Joseph McCullough, who does Silver Bayonet, Frostgrave, Stargrave. So he's coming on. I'm super excited. I am. I can't wait. And I was just like, would you like to come on our Juggz? And he's like, yes, please. It's like, yes.
Yeah, I love that. It's so good.
So
I'm going to be really looking forward to hearing that, because I think it'd be really good to see, I said, because it's a different game. Obviously, people have seen yourself and the guys chatting about all these different games and people getting involved. Actually getting to speak to some of these creators. If you don't go to, like, say, UK Games Expo or whatever, you don't get to actually meet the people.
Yeah.
Actually having a platform so you can actually see some people you may know from other games or from other things, chatting about these new games. It just opens up such a nice, opens your eyes a little bit to what else is out there, which I think is the really, really cool thing. Hence why I said, it's a very annoying, Peach, because you keep getting me wanting to get involved in lots of other things at the same time. So,
sorry.
Sitting there thinking about, I need to put some more shelves up in the man cave so I can put some more boxes up there that I'll probably paint at some point. But Silver Banner looks really cool. Like, obviously a bit of Warcry and all that stuff. So I want to give it a go as well. So, I think it's one of those things where you just kind of forget. You just get pulled in.
Yeah.
Roped in and you just want to get involved.
I kind of feel like I need to do like a video where I because there's so much stuff I want to talk about, and I know I can do 1 video a week, so that's 4 videos a month, right? And I'm like, but I've got like 10 topics right now I want to talk about, and Juggz, I can talk about some of it, but I'd like to like showcase more stuff. So I'm like, maybe I do like the best of Joseph kind of like video where it's like 40 minutes long, and I talk through all the games I like that he's done. And then it's like, here's some other cool fantasy skirmish games. I should talk about those, and like, like Moonstone and whatever else is out there. So many, like the new Warcrow from Corvus Belli, who do Infinity. They've got like this fantasy game called Warcrow come out. They've kindly sent me a box, and I was like, what's this? I mean, there's. I'm like literally thinking, do I just combine a load of topics into one video? But then, how do you make and this is the other thing, is like making thumbnails, making it like not clicky, but you want people to watch it. And I was really pleased with my thumbnail of my latest video, the how to play, but it's not. And I knew this making the video because I did the narrative battle report. Really enjoyed doing that. Had a bit of a spiel before I went into the shop kind of theme and stuff. And that I was super chuffed with how well that did. And so many people on like Discord and Patreon, and even like the comments were like, it'll be really good to know how you played the game. Would you ever think about doing a how to play? I was like, you know what? I'll do a quick how to play video. Panned out. It wasn't 100%. Quick and easy to do. Took a long time to actually make. But I did that, and I knew it wouldn't do very well. It's like a lot of the paint guys don't do it very well, which is a shame. But they're evergreen, so they do. They it's like a slow burn. They don't like get like the drama hits like some channels will go for. Like, I'm going to go for like hundreds of thousands of views with this drama take. It's like it's just a slow burn. It just takes its time to build up, and that's fine. It's my worst performing video so far, I think. But it's because it's a how to play and it's Silver Bayonet. Not many people know it, but it's there now. So whenever I do a sharp themed Silver Bayonet video, I can link that at the end, so if people actually want to know how to play it, it's there. So it's more like. But
this is the thing. You're talking about obviously like your how-to guys, like you learn things off YouTube and stuff, which is, I'm pretty sure everyone's learned how to do things. I mean, that's going to be there for a long time. And obviously, as long as the game doesn't change too much, or whatever, it's a resource. Especially if it's like it's obviously a newer game that a lot of people don't know.
Yeah,
there's not going to be lots of videos about it. So like, as it hopefully grows and continues to grow in popularity, the first thing they're going to go to is. Tips is how to play in that, which is going to be really, really cool from your point of view.
Yeah,
you'll be like,
fingers crossed.
People people come to me to learn how to play Silver Bayonet, and I mean, there's no point. I mean, Sean might watch it if he ever plays it, but Sean doesn't really do rules. He just makes up as it goes along.
Best way,
totally
Sean.
pointless.
Listen, it's all about fun. That is the most important thing, and the narrative side is what I'm watching it for all day, every day.
Good, yeah, and that's what's going to happen from now on. Nothing but narrative sharp. So,
love that.
Yeah, it's all good.
So, narrative is so cool though. Like, I think, let's be honest, I think a lot of the time you get into like factions or getting into bits and pieces, it's all around that narrative that you enjoy in the first place. So kind of making the game's narrative should be what it's about. Like, you obviously looked at it and gone, yeah, I like this. This is cool. Like, this touches me in like, well, not in that way, but like in like an enjoyment way. No, not that way either. I'm not really went as well. It touches you, okay?
Okay.
It touches you, and then you kind of get into it.
Yeah.
It's the whole thing here. Whatever I say is just more innuendo, so I don't really know where to go with this. Go on, help.
No, I get you. I do get you. Yeah, it's. I mean, for me, I've always liked telling those stories with games, and it was like the White Dwarfs of old, like all the old White Dwarfs that I've ever read, and I still retain now, like a lot of the stories. They didn't go into the rules. They'd explain what's happened, but in a narrative way. Like, you know, if let's say a squad of Space Marines has just shot a load of like orcs, they won't go like, oh, you know, this squad of Space Marines rolled 4 6s and, you know, they failed their armor save and got these numbers. It was like, no, it's like the squad of Space Marines, which would have a name like, I don't know, Squad Dersius. Like Squad Dersius gunned down 4 orcs. They were like, you know, their armor wasn't enough to save them. It's like written in such a narrative way, but you can read between the lines and go, haha, they got loads of hits and they failed loads of saves. Mega. And that's kind of where I want me battle reports to be. It's like you can appreciate the story, but you can also get the idea of the game to a certain point without actually knowing the game. And it sounds odd.
Yeah, I mean, because it's cool to see like the dice rolls as such, but you don't even need to see the dice rolls. It's more like what's the end result, because that's what you laugh about or you enjoy. What's the end result? Like, what happened in that? Like, you're like, oh my god, I can't believe that so and so's just one-shotted him with or I can't believe that guy survived the one wound or whatever it might be. Like, anything like that is just pretty cool.
I'm now looking at like, can I do bigger games as well? So once I've done like a few skirmish games, I'm like, can I do bigger games just with 1 or 2 cameras and like, because at the moment it's like a dining room table, a light,
yes, definitely, 100%. The bigger games, please, 100%.
Massive battlescapes, like proper Time Commander style. Yeah, I'll do that. Okay, just need a bigger table. I'll work on it.
I used to love Time Commanders. What a great show!
That was,
was so good.
so good.
What a throwback! Yeah. What a throwback! That was so good.
Miss those days. I don't know if they still do. I know they did a series like a couple of years back. Quite enjoyed it, but
they brought it back because they used the Total War game series to do it, and it was the original Rome, which was really fun.
Yes, it was.
Hilariously like historically inaccurate with some of the units they made up, which were hilarious. And I think they then redid it when they did like the newer Rome.
Yeah, that's right.
But I think the problem was, this is me being a geek and playing lots of Total War games over the years. But the newer Total War game, the Rome 2, was very buggy when it first came out, and I think it took like 2-3 years for it to like get good. Like it's a really good game. You can play it now; it's really, really good. But I think they tried to use it on the TV series before they'd fixed it, so it was a bit busted.
Yeah,
so I don't think it worked too well. But yeah, it was a great concept.
Yeah,
great concept. Yeah. I mean, you could definitely do that. I mean, Pete, there'll be there's a market for that, Peach. There's lots of like-minded people in our age category that would love that.
Did you know that years ago, a lot of workshop studio staff applied to go on Time Commanders and they refused them because they're war gamers? And they would do well. They didn't want people with like some kind of knowledge in wargaming.
Really?
Yeah, I was surprised by that.
You would have thought that would have been good. That would have been perfect. You'd have been this is what we need to do.
They want novices and people that would struggle, which is insane. But yeah, it was quite funny that it was a bunch of like, you know, the studio staff that like knew what they were doing. But yeah, it's great.
I love that.
But yeah, Time Commanders.
I don't love that, but I didn't know.
Great concept. But yeah, I can definitely do like bigger games. I mean, I've got this whole concept, and I still need to do the video of it. But I want to do a 40k game, but using the Black Powder rules, and I'm using Napoleonics to make the Imperial Guard, and I'll use the Horus Heresy set. Oh, what's it called? Not Dark Imperium. Not Dark Uprising. I forget what it's called. The set that came out like a couple of years ago with all the 30k Marines in it and vehicles and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. There's that set. So I was going to do like a build them to use in the Black Powder rules, where you command brigades and battalions across the battlefield, and it's all very fun the way that commands are done. But I've done them in such a way that they can be broken into 40k units as well. So like if I do like a brigade of 25
nice.
Mordian infantry, that's still like a platoon command and 2 squads of 10 that can be used in 40k. But I've got 200 figures that I've painted up so far, like a load of Mordians, some Talon Desert Raiders, and some Ventrelli Nobles. And those 200 figures have cost me about 60 quid, whereas a squad of 10 costs you £37.50 from Workshop. Granted, the sculpting is slightly different, but for a squad of 10, you're like paying like, let's say 40 quid. For 200, you're paying 60 quid. And I'm like, and I've only done coloured, I've literally used like some Napoleonic outfits, gave them like peak caps because they come with peak caps, or like found like relevant headgear. And because I've got enough sets, I've like done head swaps. I've cut the muskets down a bit so they look a little bit like they could be a las gun or like some las lock and stuff like that. But from a distance, when they're in blocks of infantry and they've got banners and stuff, because it's all taken from the very classic Imperial Guard box
the artwork
that came out. Yeah, so they got the
absolute perfection to look at.
Yes, that is. It's like literally. I looked at that and went, Napoleonic in space. I can do that. So that's a project. It's still in the works. It still needs to be like ironed out. Pete the Wargamer said he wants to do some stuff for it as well. So at some point I'll get my finger out my butt and get that finished. But I've got so many figures to paint, so many scratches to itches to scratch. Whichever,
just scritch one of them.
Yeah,
I think there's a cream for that, isn't there?
Is there? Oh, cool. What is it? I'll write it down. I've got my post-it note at hand. It's not Caniston.
That'll be your next advert on the channel.
Genius.
Get rid of all your hobby itches.
Oh, I tell you, actually, if there's one sponsor out there that does want to sponsor me, and I will shamelessly promote, will be Yorkshire Tea. Because that is my bag. Literally, that is my bag.
Unintended.
Yes, absolutely.
And I swear, didn't was it Sean Bean that done a Yorkshire Tea advert?
Yeah. It's my way to get your. Sean Bean
I'm sure he did.
Yeah, that's my Juggz life goal is to get Sean Bean on there and chat too. It will happen at some point.
I'll tell you what. Do you know that? Have you ever heard of Cameo, where you get people to like pay people to do like send you personal messages?
Yes.
Do you reckon Sean Bean does one of those? You can maybe then use it for like a voiceover. Imagine getting Sean Bean to do a voiceover for one of your videos.
That'd be amazing.
Pay him like a tenner or whatever to do a quick video.
Like, welcome to Peachy Tips. Like,
welcome to Peachy Tips, my favourite podcast, my favourite channel on YouTube.
on YouTube.
on YouTube, yeah, on
YouTube. Nice.
I'm sitting here with Yorkshire Tea right now, listening to Peachy Tips. Lovely brew. Put the kettle on now. You've got 2 minutes till it starts.
I'm in. Cameo. Try it. Let's do it.
Cameo. I think it's called Cameo. I'm pretty sure it is because you can get like pretty much anyone. You get this really weird. I'm now going to have to look because now I'm like fully invested in this. Voiceover, comedians. Cameo. You can get anyone. You can get so many different people, loads of famous people. It ranges in price, but
there was on the Sharp Bat Report actually. One of the comments, a guy was like saying like, I'd love to get a Pycroft model at some point because I've been tracking down trying to get him. I was like, I bloody love Pycroft. And he was like, you do know I was the guy that voiced him, played him. I was like, what? He was like, I don't know if you remember the episode where the guy's got the hood.
Yeah.
And he was like, I played him. If you ever want any voiceovers doing, just let me know. I'm like, So I've got his email 100%. Now. So next time I do a Sharp video, you'll be getting an email going, Nigel, are you interested in doing any voiceovers for my shop? He'd be like, yes.
You've got these lines that I need you to narrate for me, please. Thank you ever so much.
Thank you.
Well, that might be an idea if you ever wanted to get lots of extra kind of, I guess, voiceovers and stuff. You could always kind of maybe get some of your Patreons to do some voices for you or something like that. Things like that, which would be quite cool. Getting the peeps involved. However, I suppose then you have to control what people are saying, but and how bad the Yorkshire accents are.
Yeah, it's also quite hard as well because some people, it's that performing to to not just camera, but also to like the audio device as well. So there is an element of performance. So we've done it before in the past with stuff where people send in like some voiceovers and they're just talking normally, and it's not really usable. And it also depends on their audio devices, how well that sounds as well. There's a guy on my Patreon called Landon who was a news anchor, and he does some amazing voices, and he's an hilarious guy. And I reached out to him because he did some voiceovers on the painting phase as well, and he was just like, "Yeah, I'd love to." So I know he's up for it. And then a couple of other folks have reached out to go, "Oh, I'd like to do some voices," but again, it's like, are you any good? I can't just like it's I don't want to be like charitable and go, "Yeah, just give me some voices," and then it ends up being pants, and I feel like I have to put it on because I don't want to put people off, but at the same time, I don't want people to feel that they can't do it at the same time. So it's like, it's tricky. It's that kind of like, because everyone wants to be part of it, and I totally get that, but you have to have like a sense of professionalism as well. Like, sorry, it's not good enough. Can't use it. Or the audio is just really, have you got a better mic or whatever? It's that kind of stuff. So it's tricky, but good fun.
No, I feel that. Yeah, well, definitely got that feedback about audio on ours. I had literally like a potato microphone when we started this, and the sound quality was just getting a half decent microphone. Like does make such a difference. So I definitely get you there for sure. I'll tell you what, Mr. Peach, while we're here, we do have some lovely questions from some of our Discord people. So I thought, why don't we do some of those so we get them in? Because there's always people who like to ask some questions.
Mega.
I mean, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start from the bottom up.
Oh, that sounds like what I like to do too. So do carry on.
Yeah, well, exactly. I thought, I was like, we've already talked about Juggz and touching everything and getting touched by things. I thought, well, we'll start from the bottom because that's definitely the way where we're going with this. And the first one was from lovely Aaron. He's a very knowledgeable man about lots of things. But his question was, why did you agree to come back onto the Brushlickers podcast? That's what he said. he's a keen supporter of the podcast. Yeah. And he said,
honestly,
why did you come back?
I felt guilty for not getting Matt's figure painted. I felt it's the least I could do. So I just like chatting to you guys. It's great. And also, I've not done anything like this for a little while now. It's quite nice just to chat and talk to like-minded individuals, and I kind of really enjoyed doing the talking with you guys. So yeah, that's why.
Good. Yeah, it's definitely the emotional blackmail. That's what we've worked out.
Mostly
emotional blackmail, and well-rehearsed lines that we pre-recorded. So that's fine. Here we go. Next one. So thank you so much. And this one's from Mr. Lewis from King's Miniatures. He's a big fan of stuff. So this is
Scott. Is that Scott Lewis? No.
No, it's Lewis King.
Oh, okay.
It's King's Miniatures. You may have come across him at some point. I'm sure he's been around Salute and goes to a few of those things. I'm sure he bumped into him one of these.
More than likely.
And he says, it's a question for Mr. Peach. Does he enjoy games that push the traditional boundaries with games such as Silver Bayonet that combine Napoleonics and Gothic horror? And does he think he could go further and create other mashups like the realms of Lovecraft Cthulhu with Samurai, for example? It's a bit of a long question.
Yeah, no.
But, what are your thoughts and kind of like what kind of I suppose what you're trying to get down to is like, do you enjoy those kind of more in terms of real setting boundaries pushed?
I think it's a bit of both. So when I was very young, I used to just like play war game, like with my toy soldiers, my own little war games in my own little mind, and then got introduced to like fantasy, sword and sorcery. But I've always liked the idea of like the what ifs and like the sort of like alternate universes and this, that, and the other. So the ability to mix things up, and like the Silver Bayonet is a perfect example. Like I like classic things like Frankenstein and Dracula, Van Helsing, all those kind of like cool things, and like ghouls, ghosts, and whatever. But then putting in a setting I also understand and love, and mashing the two together makes sense. Recently did some stuff with Modiphius where they're doing the cohorts of Cthulhu, where it's like Romans versus Cthulhu, and that's like that's cool. But I'm always looking for like interesting, whether that's stuff I make up myself or what other people do. Like it could be. Here's one I do want to do. There's an artist on Instagram. He's called Jake Bartok, and he does some really nice art for Star Wars, and he does some really nice art for Lord of the Rings. It's really, really well done. It's almost like a graphic novel cover. kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But one of my favourite things he does is where he mashes Star Wars with Lord of the Rings. So, or like makes Star Wars fantasy, or makes Lord of the Rings Star Wars, like sci-fi.
Do you know what? I think I've seen some of his stuff.
It's so good.
I'm just having a look now,
and I want to
just got it in front of me. Yes.
I want to do that as a war game
great.
because he's got like this set where it's got like a photo of like Ahsoka and Anakin. Then it's got all the 501st like Rex and Jesse and like the ones with the Ahsoka patterns, but they're all in like stylized clone but knight armor. And they're all,
I love that.
It's just so good, and that's like a mashup I really want to get behind and like do some miniatures for and play some games with. But then seeing the Lord of the Rings as Jedi and Sith, because like all the ring race look like Sith lords. It's
cool.
It's great.
Did he? Because he didn't do the one where it was there was a space marine in Lord of the Rings.
Possibly.
Did you do that one? It didn't do that one. There was one a while ago. I remember seeing. It was like quite a famous one. It looked like it was like a blood angel, and it was when the Uruk-hai take away Merry and Pippin basically, and they were like, oh well, if no hobbits would have been taken to Isengard if that space marine was there. He's just literally like decimating like these Uruk-hai. Like,
amazing
fashion. Yeah, it's really quite cool actually. That's that kind of the first thing that sprung to mind.
Yeah,
because it's funny you mentioned Star Wars there, because the first thing I was thinking as well was like, imagine like Sharp in space.
Yeah.
Like what would that be like?
That's called Gaunt's Ghosts, mate. That's Gaunt's Ghosts.
Oh yeah. Sorry, yeah. Sorry. Okay. Oh yeah. That's good,
it's
definitely not.
Good job, Sean's not here.
Yeah. Sean, he's done it again. He said it again.
No, but I know what you mean, like Napoleonic-esque kind of.
But like specifically just Sharp, like mind you, he'd pretty much be like a bit like Han Solo, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
In some respects, that kind of thing in Star Wars. But yeah, that kind of crossover would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
That would really sound. Yeah. I mean, like I said, like when I spoke to you about the samurai stuff earlier, like kind of samurai, because there's a big outcry I've seen on like social media with like films, and someone saying they should do a Predator film based in Japan.
Yeah.
Like with like the samurai time, with a guy who was who's the lead? What's the name of the actor who's just been on the Shogun? I don't know if you've seen Shogun.
I have, yes. I know who you mean. The one who was in Last Samurai, who was like a bit of a Yeah. I know who you mean. I forget his name. He was a great actor.
Be amazing actor, and that kind of setting would be absolutely amazing. But I'd love that as well, like, as like a game.
Yeah,
that would be like really cool. Like maybe like 13 Ronin or 37 Ronin, whatever it is, and then versus like monsters basically. And you have to. The whole point is you have to like almost like a dungeon chase. You have to get as many Ronin to get to the end of it, because they've killed their master or whatever. And that'd be quite cool.
In short, big fan of crossovers and mashing stuff together. I love it. It's good. Mashing.
There you go, Lewis. He likes mashing things together. So there, peaches everywhere. Mashed.
Ooh.
So there we go. Now everyone answered. Thank you very much, Mr. Peach. Right, next one is this is from Jello Miniatures, and he said, "Does Peachy like Peaches Geldof, Princess Peach, Peach Cobbler, and the Canadian electroclass musician Peaches?"
Yes. Peaches Geldof, I'm not so sure, because she's just, what's she famous for other than having a famous dad and just being a bit of a junkie? She's dead now, though, isn't she? Is she dead? I think she might be dead.
I don't know. This is the magic of Google.
Yeah,
Peaches Geldof.
But yeah, she's the only person. The others are all cool. Peaches Geldof less cool. But yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she's dead. Yeah, she's dead.
Yeah, I thought she died a few years back. One reason or another.
2014. It was 10 years ago, Peach.
Jesus, that's a long time. It does not feel that long ago.
I know. It was 10 years ago.
Did that fly by? But yeah, I like most things Peachy. Yeah, whenever it's something me and my wife will do is like if we're buying like wine for people, like if we're going to someone's house, we look for wine that's got hints of peach in it, just because we can. I love that. Whenever we can, anything that's peach related will be delivered to friends and family in wine format.
I've heard everything, by the way. I've had this been wandering around trying to find this Asda shop, and it's still not here. So I've had a mare. I'm having a nightmare. Right.
I tell you what, that earpiece must be as well used as some the Secret Service security at the weekends. There's lots of good messages that were going through that, weren't there?
Yeah.
Anyway,
what's that? What?
What was that?
Oh no.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, we won't dive into that, idiot. So that not Sean,
Oh.
just to clarify.
Yeah.
Sean's not the idiot.
Yeah. So have you done an Asda order? It's just not turned up. Is that?
No, it's I've actually got to go because I've got to try and find it. It's out there somewhere, and it's just
right. That's mad.
Yeah.
What do you mean it's out there? Is he?
I don't know. It's been calling me. I don't know what's going on. So, gents, I'm going to sign off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I literally don't know what's going on. I will catch up with you sometime, but this is ridiculous.
Is he scared of the thunderstorm? Have you got a thunderstorm where you are?
Yeah, it's chucking it. It's chucking it down.
That's what it is. Maybe he's scared of the thunder.
Can you imagine?
He hasn't got his thunder buddy.
You'll find out in the next episode how this goes, ladies and gents. But for now, bye-bye.
Will Sean find his shopping? Will his family be able to eat?
It's got all my sausages in there.
I was about to say, how many sausages will be delivered?
All right, gents, enjoy the rest of the questions. And
Yes.
Peachy, it's lovely catching up with you as always, sir.
Speak soon.
Matt, love you.
Enjoy your shop.
I'll do this again. Bye. Anyway, now Sean's got. We've lost the idiot.
He can't hear now. He can't. Can he?
No, he can't.
I don't know.
No. Well, this is the thing now. I can make it as difficult as I want for him now when he goes to edit it in inverted commas.
Nice.
So I just kind of. But I do need to get him back because he's started doing this thing where I leave like a nice dramatic pause to put in like a nice little sponsored message. And I think, oh, here we go. I'll just leave a nice little pause. I'm like, Sean, you can put it in here.
Yeah.
Every single time he puts it in a different part of the video, so I just sound like an absolute idiot. This time I'm not going to leave him a pause. He's going to have to.
That's really
work
hard.
It out himself.
I've done that. I've been there on that editing. I'm like, because it goes so fast, you can't get it in time. Nice one. That'll teach him.
Yeah,
that'll teach him for looking for his shopping.
This is it. I mean, look, my idea is if I keep talking continuously and keep making noises, he won't have anywhere to cut it in. It would just be mid-sentence, like now or something like that, and he'll have to just go. It'll be like, and no one's going to know what's going on and be midway through everything. Anyway, idiot. The idiot's gone. We've got the best host on and Peach. So here we go. Peach, this is your new audition for your additional podcast you've now got going on.
Nice.
Just because you haven't got enough to
do.
No,
that's fine. Spin a lot of plates. That's what I'm going to do.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's what you need. So an extra one. Yeah. When you've already got three hands to keep spinning.
Once you've got them going, what's one extra, right? What's one extra?
Oh, yeah, exactly, mate. That's all you need. Talking of peaches and that kind of thing, and also you mentioned Pete the Warm Gamer earlier, it got my cogs thing, because since we last spoke as well, you've got your own rattle can of primer and stuff, haven't you?
That was out the blue. They were, when I was... still at the painting phase, they were looking at doing it then, but we couldn't really decide on the colour. And then I moved off, and then Huey contacted me again going, I'd like to continue trying to do the signature series with you, if that's all right. Because I always wanted to get a flesh can of spray, because there's so many things that you can just like speed through painting if you had like a flesh spray. So like whether that's barbarians or rats or minotaurs, World War II vehicles, Star Wars desert buildings or whatever. And and I had an army painted spray, and it's fine. It's a problem sometimes with the army painted sprays is they're a bit hit and miss. Sometimes they're fine. Other times they come out really glossy. Other times they don't come out at all. And I had this flesh one. It just was so hit and miss. I always used to get frustrated with it. I just stopped using it. But I've used a lot of the colour forge stuff, and it's quite super reliable. Some people have said in the comments and stuff like, oh, eventually it rubs off. I've never had that, but then I don't know what they've been priming over and how they're treating it and stuff.
This is it, isn't it?
There's so many different like variables involved in like spraying just in general, let alone like the longevity of it. But to be like asked to be part of a signature series with 7 other very, very big, well-known names was quite an honour. But I was like, I'm going to promote the shit out of this, because this is like a flesh spray. Yeah. I know why it's so useful and cool. Many people probably just look and go, why do you need a flesh? But I'm going to tell you why you need a flesh, because it's going to be mega used for everything.
It was a great video. It was really informative. Like, I actually found it really informative, because I'm not going to lie, I was the same. I was like, why do I need like a fresh colour? Like, and then I was like, that makes so much sense. I was like, I could just like my rat ogres. I could just spray some rat ogres and then just go from there.
Done.
That'd be so ideal.
Yeah, get some fur paint on them.
There you go, guys. I mean, realistically, guys, if you want to get your Skaven tile painted early, peach is pretty colourful. Bit of peach, job done.
Peach.
Just give it a bit of wash.
Yeah, because they did the Kickstarter, so I don't know when it will become available, but hopefully soon. Because I need some more because I've gone through quite a lot at the moment. Because I've been...
I bet. Because obviously, how many like attempts did it take you to like kind of get the video just right of how you wanted it to do? Because I guess did you have to do lots of different models, or did you get the model nailed on first time?
So from a spray and a model point of view, that I'm quite confident with that. It was more they sent a test spray through, but my test spray was actually okay. But some of the other guys, because depending on the colour, depending on how bright it is, and it was all hand filled as opposed to machine filled. It has so many things that can go wrong because it's just a test can. It's not of the finished factory article. But mine was fine. And all the things I sprayed was like the first attempt. I wanted to paint He-Man up. I had him on my desk for a while, so I was like, "This is a great opportunity to paint He-Man up." And I got loads of barbarians and random stuff. I had this giant beholder, which I was like, I want to use that for Frostgrave and other games. So that's a great excuse to get that sprayed up.
It's great.
But yeah, it was. I did 2 videos weirdly. I did like a little quick promotion, which was only 2 minutes, because they wanted, they were explaining to me like the start of a Kickstarter, the first 24 hours of a Kickstarter and the last 48 tend to be the most sort of peak times for like getting, people to come on the Kickstarter. So I got the sort of 2-minute one quite quickly done, so I could put it into like the first 24 hours when the Kickstarter went live, and it was just more like just a bit of fun and like, hey, peachy, look, you can match it with tea as well because it's perfect for matching with tea.
Obviously.
But then I was like, I actually want to do more sort of content on the spray itself because I don't think that 2 minutes was enough. So I just went, I'm just going to do another video that's a bit more long form. So I think it was like 15 minutes or something like that, to be a bit more detailed about what you can do. And Louise was struggling to get a video done for her. She wanted to do something. I was like, I'll roll in some rogue pink, if you don't mind. She's like, no, please do. So I did because I got these cool crooked dice figures, and I was like, I want to paint some of those pink. Yeah. So I did a little video, a little snippet as part of that. And also I wanted to get one of every colour. I was being a bit greedy, to be fair, because I wanted to show how you could use like doing like different kind of colours together, because like spraying Mike is red and then dusting the pink over the top or peach over the top of it can give you some nice sort of like subtle demon tones. Using the pink and the peach with a white dusting is good for like putting yellow inks over it to shade yellows. And then I was like, well, there's Pete's colour, that would be quite nice to do in different skin tones, so I could show that. You got the ashen grey, which is the tabletop tactics one. I'm sure I could do something with yellow. I could definitely do something with the blue that Midwinter's done. Definitely. They could only send me so much because they only had so much available, but I would have made that video slightly longer if I had one of each spray. I would have happily done that. It's like people are like, why are you promoting our stuff? That's our job. I'm like, because I want to, because it's cool and I want it to do well, because if we're all getting a little bit of kickback from these cans being made and sold, then it's in my best interest to promote them all and they do 100%. Well and stuff. So I'm very behind Colour Forge as colours go. It's a shame that they're only UK based at the moment, but it's not like a brand new company, but it's quite costly to go overseas because of all the shipping and this, that, and the other. So I totally understand why it's limited at the minute. But fingers crossed if the Kickstarter does well and they become more well known, they'll be able to get factories elsewhere and then produce more worldwide.
I'm sure it'll take off. I think it'll take off. I think the market seems to be crying out for decent spray. All I've ever heard is really good things about Colour Forge, to be perfectly honest with you. Like everyone says, like it's really good spray. Yeah. Everyone's ranting the raves about how good it is. I feel like I need to get some myself. Well, to be fair, some of the colours. I'm just sorry. Sean's messaged me and he just said, "This is like a live update of Asdagate, right?" He's messaged me. He says, "Oh my god, the driver's crashed in a ditch up the road."
The hell?
What's going on?
Oh my god!
What is going on?
Wow, are the sausages okay?
Yeah,
Do we know? That's the real question.
Oh, this.
Has he saved the tea and the
Oh, my
sausages?
days.
And is the driver
Yeah,
okay,
of
obviously?
course, yeah, but
Um,
I suppose if it's really bad torrential rain, then you ain't going to see the ditch, are you? That's mad.
Well, I mean, this is it. I mean, I'm pretty sure Sean lives in like kind of south east London, so I don't know how many ditches there are, but apparently he's found the only one there is.
so-
But live update, everybody. Well, it won't be live for you; it's live for us. But I had to read it out because
That's amazing.
now you're just not going to know. You're going to be sitting there intrigued and to find out if, what the next episode on the next episode what happened. Is everything okay?
We might even
Does
find
Sean
out
get his
that
food?
the van driver is a fan of the show, and he'll be like, that was me. That was me.
That was me. Who knows? Hopefully it is. So, hello, Mr. Van Driver, if you're listening to this now, I hope you're well and recovering. And Asa didn't sack you for driving into the ditch because I know that's what the type of thing they would do. So, hello, Mrs. Van Driver. Where were we? Colour Forge sprays. Yes, I've got a lot of zombies to paint actually for some Soul Blight. So some of them lovely colours would probably be quite good to then shade.
There's
up
like
and stuff, like some really nice,
sort of a
greys
zombie
and stuff.
green, like a rotting kind of green.
Yeah.
But I think what they try and do is like match every base paint that Workshop's done. Weirdly, they're better matched than the Workshop Citadel sprays, which is bizarre. So if you get like the it's called salamander green because you can't copyright the word salamander, but then you've got renegade green, which is like dark angel green, ruinous red, which is like corn red. So they all match perfectly,
Really
which
good.
is great. So any base paint you have for Citadel, there's a matching spray.
Yeah,
they're just really cool sprays. Really rate them.
100%. No, definitely, guys. So if you haven't seen the videos, do go and check out Peach's video on his flesh coloured and tea coloured. I would say spray tea coloured. It's absolutely delightful. So probably be getting some of that myself. Just now, I've given myself the idea that I can just paint my rat ogres even quicker and more efficiently. Which got 6 to paint. Got to get through them somehow. I've got lots of rats. Back to the questions, Mr. Peach, if you don't mind. We have got what have we got there? Ben from First Rank Fire, Second Rank Fire podcast. I don't know if you've come across Ben. Yeah, Ben's a lovely guy. Very big fan. We feel like we're a joint collective. We've gone on almost like a podcast journey together. It's been fantastic. He's more of the Michael Parkinson interview, and we're more chaotic, like Graham Norton, as I would say.
I'd agree with that.
Sean's like I would say
way.
Sean's. Yeah, 100% in a good way. I'd say Sean's Graham Norton. I'm more Jonathan Ross. Is how I would say. That's how we go. Sean's got Jonathan Ross's hair though.
I don't know. I'd say you got a good head of hair. I'm getting Ross vibes from you. Strong Ross vibes.
Ross. Good old Ross. I mean, sometimes my speech is like Jonathan Ross's, to be perfectly honest with you. Because I'm a terrible mumbler at the best of times, which is great when you're doing a podcast and you're a mumbler. So I have to really think about it. But Ben asked him, what a horrible question, Ben. Sorry, Peach. Ask him how it feels to be the old man of Warhammer. He said,
fine. It's like someone's got to be right. Someone's got to be that guy. I'm doing a favour for everyone out there that I don't think I'm the old man of Warhammer. There's a fair few still kicking, but I do feel it. I do feel stretched, sort of spread across like butter spread across too much bread. That's how I feel right now.
Oh yes, great line.
Old and haggard.
I suppose you've kind of seen a real evolution of probably of like miniature gaming. Just in general, I guess, as a result, like, what do you think is the biggest difference from kind of like when you started off to now? Like, what's in terms of what's changed the most about like that kind of the scene, the wargaming scene in general?
I mean, there's been so many changes, like from tech and like skill-based sort of stuff, like like the artistry in itself, like like the sculpting, the painting side of it. But I think the biggest thing for me really is the acceptance of it. When I was much younger, you were always like the weird kid, or like it was a bit like Dungeons and Dragons. That's a bit. You want to play with toys? What are you? I used to get that from not my mum and dad, because my dad was always into wargaming, and my mum, could see the joy it brought. And for me, it helped me learn a lot of stuff like arithmetic and English and stuff. But like aunties and uncles are a bit like, you're just a bit of a nerd, bit of a geek. You're like, you're just horrible. You're just a horrible person to say that to a 7-year-old. Well done for being a horrible human on the planet. Which is why I don't speak to those people anymore, because they're scum. But it's true. Yeah, it's true. They're not very nice people at all.
It's true.
And they used to be really mean, but it's become, and there's a lot of people over the years have been like that with their families, and or people are into it. Like my mate Steve, he's got a family member whose partner just thinks it's ridiculous and stupid and for thick people, and wow, you're really shallow. But it's become more accepted. I mean, there are a few like that, but I really like the fact that if you say, "Oh, I do Warhammer," people are like, "Oh yeah, that's that." Or if you say, like at the school run when I'm picking up Charlie, someone said to me like the other day, "Oh, I heard you do YouTube. Is that right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I make YouTube videos. What do you do?" And I paint toy soldiers. Do you know Warhammer? And they're like, "Oh yeah, I used to do that at school." I'm like, "There you are. That's what I do." And no one judges, cool. No one cares. Got a hire car the other day, and you got very trendy looking sort of like guys working behind the desk, organising your car, and you're like, "Oh, what's it for? Business or pleasure?" I was like, "Oh, I'm business. I'm just taking a trip down to Bristol." "Oh yeah, what do you do?" I was like, "Oh, I paint toy soldiers on YouTube," and they're like, "Really?" I was like, yeah. It's like, "Does that make a lot of money?" It's like, I don't know. I wouldn't say it, makes a lot of money, but it's enough to put like food on the table for the family, and I really enjoy it. And they're like, "That's amazing." And they're like, "What's it called?" And I start talking, like looking and go, "Oh, it's great." It's like people accept it more. I think that's, for me, that's the biggest thing. Is like it's not seen as like the weird thing, and it doesn't make people feel dumb or stupid or freaky. And it's always going to be that challenge of like people still feeling it's a bit like on the fringe, and that's fine. But you're not going to get your head flushed down the toilet because there's Warhammer clubs at schools. When I was a kid, Warhammer was worse than chess. If you're part of the chess club, you were cool. If you're part of the Warhammer club, you weren't. So it's like
okay. Yeah, I kind of had a little bit of that at school. I had like a Warhammer club and stuff, and it was like hidden in one of the rooms that like school rooms, and no one really knew where it was or how to get there. It was like the room of requirements basically for like in Harry Potter. It was like you had to go down here and you had to know someone else who was in the club to like find out where this room was to get like into it.
Masons,
but
kind of thing.
On purpose. Yeah, like proper. Like it was like that. Just because otherwise, if the other kids found it, it would have been an absolute chaos. It would have been like your stuff would have been everywhere. Like everyone would have known, and it's been a nightmare basically. So it definitely. I do feel like it's changed. I mean, I definitely felt like, and I've said before on this podcast and stuff before, like when I first started, I was like, definitely not telling my mates because I play lots. I'm kind of very sporty and stuff because I'm kind of in a bit of a, I'd say like a kind of a jock kind of culture, but like a very sporty kind of that kind of more kind of I suppose laddie kind of culture in that sense, like traditional kind of lad culture, I guess. And one of my mates, I just got to the point I was like, do you know what? I really don't care like if they know or not. Like I really enjoy this. Like something I really enjoy. And the next thing I was like, oh, okay, how are you getting on with that? Yeah, I absolutely love it. It's really good. I'm like, I'm doing a podcast now. They're like, you're doing a podcast? What about toy soldiers? Like, well, it's loosely based on toy soldiers. We just chat about stuff, really, and then that's kind of like where it stems from.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't get what do you talk about? I was like, well, just listen to the podcast and find out.
Maybe
it's just kind of
come around and play a game. I'll show you.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this is the thing. So, but at the same time, I suppose. I guess also social media is probably another big thing, which has probably changed over time. Like finding like-minded people in that space, being able to chat to people and I can kind of be part of it.
I always find it's funny. I've talked about this with like loads of people. Like you see, like the guy who used to like bully you now wears the sort of like Captain America t-shirt or like the Marvel t-shirt, and then like for a time people were like, "Oh, you read comics? You're a bit weird." And then nowadays they go, "Oh, you read comics? What happens in this movie? Because I've just finished watching this movie and I want to know more." I'm like, "Oh, okay, now you want to know, do you? Okay, because it's cool." But I'm all good with that. It's nice that people are more open to it, and like you say, social media's helped, I think. I mean, if I go back like 20 100%. Years, like when I was still early days in retail, Games Workshop Sadlergate, it's on like a whole pub crawl like strip, so you always got the drunks coming in, you always got the lads coming in like causing trouble, and I'm always like, guys, they're 10, and you're coming in and shouting and calling people effing geeks and stuff. They're 10. You're making them cry. You're making kids cry. And they'll be like, it's suddenly like, they suddenly feel like completely, I'm an idiot. I'm like, yeah, you are, get out. But that was only like 20 years ago. So, it's come on loads really, which is great.
Good. I mean, yeah, it definitely is. I mean, the community is now bigger than ever.
There's still gatekeepers.
Feels like it's getting.
I mean, you still get that, and I don't think that'll ever change. There's always those people that think their hobby is whatever they envision their hobby to be.
Yeah.
I mean, I did a video on like painting custodians, and I just put a female head on one because I don't care, because I was just doing a video about painting custodians, and if I want to put a female head on it, I'll put a female head on it. I was just doing it for a laugh as well. But if people want to make their custodians female and the Space Marines female, so what? Who cares? What? Just I get it. Yeah, you like the law, you love the law, you want to preserve the law. No one's stopping you from doing that. But don't stop that person from wanting to paint their Space Marines pink. That's their choice.
No,
you've now become that
100%.
jock who would flush that person's head down the toilet. The person that used to do that to you, you've become that. So
100%.
So I'm always a bit like, I got gatekeeped years ago when I was a kid. My dad took me to an event years ago, and it was when I was like getting into Napoleonics and stuff. And I had like a box of Revel British infantry. I didn't know what I was doing. I just painted them like they were on Sharp. I made up my own flag, and I took them with me.
Love
and my
that.
dad was like, "Oh yeah, it looks like there's a game you can join in on that." And I was like, "Yeah, let's go," because he was just like wandering around, and I wanted to have a go at playing with the stuff I've painted.
Yeah, of course.
And then I got there, and this guy was like, "You can't use those. They're not real. That's not how it works. You can't come on here and play." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And my dad was like, "Come on, we're going." It's just like, that's not the way to introduce new people into your dying hobby.
And this is it, isn't it? Like this is such a weird thing. Like I don't get why people do it. Like surely you want more people in, because it just grows the hobby. There's more stuff going on. You're more likely to get more content, more models, more everything that you love about it. It will just be, the more revenue that goes into it, they've got the ability, they've got more revenue to like expand that universe, or whatever you want to talk about, Napoleonics, Frostgrave, Moonstone, anything like that. All that stuff can grow if like people get involved in it and like kind of.
I mean, what he could have done, there's two options. He could have gone the option you just did, or he could have gone, "Oh, cool, sit in, join in. You can use those. That's cool." What regiment are they? I don't know. We'll say they're the 33rd. They are. They're the regiment of the 33rd. We'll use them. You can go on here. You can defend the farmhouse or whatever. And then after you're like, just to let you know, I know you watch Sharp. You like Sharp? Yeah, you like Sharp. There's some books you can get that are called Osprey books, and they tell you all the different uniforms. They've got flags. You can go to these companies, you get proper flags and stuff like that. Doesn't matter. They look cool anyway. Good job. I'm glad that, some 11-year-olds really excited about Napoleonics, and it was like the table was full of like old men, which is why I think like historical wargaming does get that stigma that it's like for old people, but it's not. It really isn't. It's like, you can be any age and enjoy it, but it was because they were gatekeepers at their time. They didn't want new trendy people coming in. I mean, Louise gets it. She did. Yeah. She went to Boyle last year, which is Bring Out Your Lead in Nottingham. Like Foundry have like an event, and she loves old hammer. She loves anything like cast metal models that you paint. And she went there because there's lots of people that she knows and likes, that she used to work with or is socialised with. And she talked about it on a video, and then loads of people just went, "Oh my God, there's these YouTubers coming into our event and like ruining our event and making it more popular." I'm like, "Oh my God, God forbid they make the event popular." So it then grows, and then more people come up to it, and it becomes even more popular, and it grows, and then it never dies and gets forgotten. God forbid. So I always found that quite a. I guess I have to be in the. I don't want to be in the mindset, but I've got to try and put myself in their mind. Like, why? What are you scared of? What is it you're scared of? That what's the fears? I mean, I guess like people don't like the law being changed with like custodians and stuff, but stories change. Tolkien talked about that. Stories will always change. He's happy that his story will adapt and change over time. That's what stories do. That's how it used to work with the old Viking sagas. You sing a song, you don't write it down, you sing it, and then that changes in time. That's just a natural progression. It's like Chinese whispers, isn't it? Really, you say one thing to someone,
100%.
100 people later, 100%. It's like completely different. You're like, "Oh, that was still a cool story, though, mate."
Well, exactly. I mean, the whole thing now is, I think that about stories is they are stories. Like that's like they're meant to be made up. Like nothing's real. Like there's nothing there that is, even if it's like obviously canon and that stuff. And this goes for all the different universes of every single type of thing that people look at, from like Marvel to Lord of the Rings and Star Wars and that type of stuff. Like stuff can be changed and like amended. Like it doesn't mean If you don't like it, you don't have to like it, but you can just continue with the story how you liked it anyway. Like, this is the fun part, right? We're talking about narrative and stuff. If you don't like the narrative, you can play it however you want to play. If you don't want to play with female custodians, you don't have any female custodians. You just have a load of chaps. Like, do whatever you want to do. But yeah, I mean, that's the one part I think.
You know what I do, Matt?
Yes,
you know what I do?
I just still don't get it. I just don't. I really struggle to get my head around it. I get you trying to say, like, think about it from their point of view, but I really can't get my head around it. Like, toy soldiers. At the end of the day.
Toy soldiers. From a story point of view, you know what I do when I read Gaunt's Ghost now? I don't go past Honor Guard, because then Bragg dies, and I just think everyone lived happily ever after. I get to
spoiler alert.
spoiler.
If you haven't read it, sorry.
don't go past Honor Guard.
You should have done. It's 20 years old.
Yeah. Just to let you know, I could probably do about
the
5-10 more minutes of chatting. I've got to scoot. We've got stuff to. Well,
no, it's absolutely fine, mate. No worries.
To be fair, but
no, it's absolutely fine, mate. No problem at all.
Yeah. Sorry to ruin the flow.
No, absolutely not. That's absolutely fine, mate. No problem at all. Right, what was that? Oh, questions. I think we've got one. To be fair, we have got one question left. That from Zambies, who was our last guest. Well, actually, she asked 2 questions.
Greedy.
Because she's greedy. And she likes to ask loads of questions. She wants to know first one is, what is your favourite junk food / bakery item? And then the second one she asked is, what is your favourite flavour of paint?
Oh, right. Well, I'll go with paint first, and that is a classic for me, which is Corax White. I don't know why. It tastes of mint. I don't know. I've always, whenever it feels a bit minty. It's got that kind of like mentholy sort of like coolness to it. Whenever I've put it in my mouth, I'm always like, that feels a bit. It doesn't taste of mint, but it has that kind of mint sort of like, you know.
It's actually just toothpaste, basically, is what we're trying to say.
Maybe it's toothpaste.
Maybe that was the problem with it.
That's why it didn't cover.
Yeah, it was literally it won't spread. It doesn't matter how much water you put on it, it just will not spread. It's just toothpaste. That's what happens.
So,
and no one's admitted to the mistake. It's years and years and years and years of secrets.
Don't tell anyone. It's good for your teeth. The workshop's trying to keep the nation's teeth white and clean. That's what they're doing.
It's a government initiative.
Maybe. But yeah. The what I'm going to go with the one I hate the most, and that is there's a metallic paint. I think it's AK or one of them, and when I've used them in the past, it's horrible. I almost like sends me into next week if I forget and I don't wash.
Not lead.
I don't know.
Lead.
It's like, it's like licking a battery. Maybe it is battery. I don't know. But it's like licking a battery. If you've ever licked a battery, you know what I mean.
Don't disclaimer. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. But if you do it, you'll know exactly what we mean.
If you're from like disclaimer. School boy from 1993, then you know what that's like. But you know, I've grown up since then.
Yeah. No one grows up. To be fair, these days batteries are all enclosed. These days, probably for that exact reason, people can't lick them anymore.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, favorite junk food.
Yeah, you don't really see. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, favorite junk food / bakery item.
I'm going to be greedy and mention both. So, favorite junk food has to be a McDonald's breakfast and a double egg McMuffin with a hash brown.
Oh,
and a tea.
Okay, love that.
If I'm like going away or like on a trip or like I've got a hire car and going to an event or something like that, I have to stop off for a McDonald's double egg McMuffin.
Oh, I love it. Yeah,
with a hash brown. And a tea, because they do PG tips, which is fine. Not Yorkshire, but it's PG tips. It's okay.
It's not too bad. Are you an extra hash brown man? Do you like to get the extra hash brown as well? Some people, that's quite a common thing.
I do if I know it's going to be a long day and I'm not going to get to eat until quite late. Then I go for the extra hash brown. But
yeah, I mean, the hash browns are pretty good. I do like the hash browns.
It's like if I have a McDonald's burger, I don't feel full. If I have like a KFC or a Burger King, I struggle to finish them. Whereas like after a McDonald's one, I'm like, I still feel hungry. So they're not very filling. Whereas the breakfasts are super filling.
I feel that. Yeah, cool, great answer.
And bakery item. Oh, it's a Bakewell tart. It's a Bakewell tart every time.
I was going to say, what are you having with your tea? Like when you sit down with a nice cup of Yorkshire tea, what
Bakewell
are you having?
tart.
Nice bit of Bakewell tart.
And if I can, Bugman's Bakewell tarts, because the chef that makes them, amazing. Used to have them on live when we used to do Warmer TV live as often as I can. I'll have like a little bacon tart. Both me and Duncan would actually, to be fair. We both like the bacon tarts from there. They're awesome.
Love that.
Yeah, that's
fantastic.
Yeah, thank you, Zambies. Good questions. Good questions.
Yeah, she sent me a lovely peach cobbler recipe after last episode. So I've actually got to make a peach cobbler. I'll give you the reviews of how good it is to give it a go. We started sharing recipes. It seems to be the new thing.
I like it. Yeah.
So if you've got any recipes, Mr. Peach, that you'd like us to share, let us know. We'll get them circulating.
I do a bit of cooking, but I'm not very good at it, so there probably won't be great recipes.
Nah, and that is fine with me. I'm still learning myself. But it's been absolutely lovely. We'll wrap it up there because we've already asked you. We already know that you're a brush licker. We already know how many sausages you have. Yeah. So we've already asked those questions because you've been on again. But it's been absolutely pleasure to have you on. I want the sausage question is. Do you know what? I actually forgot to ask a guest of the week. Unbelievable. I actually forgot, and now I'm very upset. So we end up having to. We're asking Chris back soon. Chris from VT.
Yeah,
it's going to come on. So we're going to get him back on just to ask him.
And that's it.
No, we're going to do a whole new episode. Just it. It's going to be an hour. We're just going to do an hour podcast. We'll just do like us talking over the top of this, asking one question.
Yeah, that's what ask a question and then just diverge from it for the entire show, then get back to it at the end. I like it. Smart.
Exactly. Yeah. Just do a full circle. Just how we roll.
Sounds like Juggz.
No, but basically. Taking probably a little bit too much inspiration. That's what's happening here. Just kind of realise that we feel like we're part of the conversation in our own little circle over here. So. But thank you so much for coming once again. Lovely to speak to you. We apologise thoroughly for a man driving into a ditch and putting Sean shopping into God knows where.
Well, I'm sure there's a place called Shoreditch, so maybe it's Shoreditch now. We're going to call that area Shoreditch.
Yes.
So, that's famous on the map now, and his sausages will be famous. Shoreditch's sausages. That's a lot to say. I'm not going to do that again. Shoreditch's sausages. Say that five times fast. No, don't. That's a terrible idea.
Well, maybe that's where we'll get our next repeating guest, or we'll get him to say Sean ditches sausages 5 times as quickly as possible. Maybe that'll be the challenge that everyone have to
as
do.
Many times as they with the amount of sausages they like in a sitting. Maybe that's how many times they have to say it fast. Yeah,
because you was a 3 sausage man, if I remember
5.
Rightly.
Yeah.
5.
I'm full on. I'm full on going hard.
Oh, okay.
I'm not like one of these sausage pussies where they just have like a handful. I'm like, I'll have them all.
You're a full fist. Full fist.
I now feel I need to check my own law, and I'll be reviewing back the last podcast to go, was it 5 or was it 3? I'm sure I said 5.
I feel like it was. I know it was an odd number because you didn't like even.
Yes,
I remember that. It was like it has to be odd. So I
think it's 5 or 3. I think it was 5 or 3. If I'm not in the mood, if I'm feeling a bit starved, I might maybe go for 3. But if I can, I'll go for 5.
That's fair. That's fair.
Strong. Right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sean.
Fantastic.
I know you're here editing this right now. Thank you so much for. Hope your sausages are good as well. Yeah.
Editing's loose. Okay. Editing's loose on this.
Cutting out the weird bits.
It's hashtag no editing. Yeah. He'll just pick which bits he wants to leave in and leave out. Probably none of it, knowing Sean, because that's what Sean's like. But yeah, no. Thank you so much for coming on. Best of luck with Juggz. Best of luck with the channel. We look forward to seeing all your content. We'll obviously put all your links and stuff if somehow you don't know who Peachy is, and all the other bits and pieces. But it's a good night from me, and it's a good night from you, Mr. Peach, I believe.
Au revoir. Bye.
See you later.
Bye. I hate saying bye.
But I'm saying bye.